sports, it's in the game.
Welcome back to the 5th annual, yes, I had to count that, 5th annual Alpha Beta Index. This is as old as the podcast itself. It's as old as Marcus's show, I think, too. It is as old. It's some could say it's the genesis for a lot of things in life. But we're back. This is a little different this year. Now, a lot of things are the same. Size here. Marcus is here. Marcus Johnson at the Mark John NFL. Go to Tape Don't Lie on YouTube, and you can catch me and him most Friday night, pretty much every Friday night, unless I'm out gambling like I was this weekend.
Hit a like if you like it. Hit the dislike if you don't like it.
Yeah.
Favorite is podcast. Favorite is everything.
Subscribe.
Come on, dude.
Subscribe.
Yeah.
Yes. All of that.
Ups, 25% off, dude. Yeah. Let's go, dude. Yeah. Your guys' show is great, dude. I don't watch every single one, but I watch most of them. I'd say the Friday night.
Appreciate that, man.
Friday
Night Live,
dude.
Yeah,
Friday Night Live. Marcus
and
myself having some fun. It's become a kind of a little cult classic on that channel. A lot of
for real.
It's been on there, so go ahead and check that out. But we're doing something different. All of us were very busy around the time we normally do this. Everybody's show's growing, everybody's life is growing, and I was kind of like, let's see if we can do it midway through or quarter way through the season. And there were a lot of people. I was kind of like, well, is anyone going to even ask? Because that's not what our show's about. I was like, is anyone going to ask like where that show is? Hundreds.
Yeah,
I'm lying, like 10, but still, like 10 people. Not always got to be exponential. When 10 people hit you up, that means 90 other people didn't ask, but were wondering as well.
It didn't feel right not doing it.
No,
we had to do it. Dude.
Yeah, exactly. So we are back. This is going to be interesting. I think it might even be better now that we have some data points, some real life 2024 data points. But Sai, you have the list, right? You have the list. We're going to get that started in a second. But I have 2 quick questions for Marcus. I got to say, people having access to film should create better opinions about football. However, it does not. Now, would you support perhaps legislature? Hopefully we don't have to go that far, but like a kind of a driver's test situation to obtain all 22 film, kind of like an aptitude test to not just show that like, what's going on here.
Yeah, 100%, man, because that's a lot of it was with the whole Michael Mayer thing. People were like, we're trying to find a play of guys giving business decisions. Like, it obviously we had found out it was Jack Jones. So, obviously, we all found out that was Jack Jones because he sat out the first quarter like it was high school football.
Exactly. Yeah. Punishment, dude.
I love it. No, because I see a lot of people, they have access to it. They have Game Pass. They might be able to identify a few things, but it's really hard to do like comprehensive film stuff if you don't know the scheme. And there's a lot of people that have access to film, but don't know what scheme is. They don't know what players responsible. Football is so many moving parts. It's less and less basketball one-on-one. It's less and less that. There's 22 people on the field on the field at one time, and you're trying to get access to all of it to see something. But if somebody gave me access to it, I don't know what I would do because I'm not a scheme guy. So I think the NFL needs to thin the herd a little bit with who they give access to this information.
Yeah, I think it's cheap too, man. It's like $15 a month.
Wow.
It ain't expensive. It used to be $100 for the whole year. Like, so people, a lot of people had to invest in it like a little bit, but now it's like, it's just a cheap little thing. And it drops before like the actual film folder I get, it drops like at 5:00 in the morning. So that's why you see all these people posting all their shit so quickly online. But
it's horrible. And you have, what's just funny because NFL Sunday ticket costs $1 million. But like all 22 NFL Sunday ticket, not really. It's interesting. Makes you think. My second question, last year, I remember we talked about the big hot topic was, do you pay running backs? Do you have a gig economy Uber, Lyft app to like hire running backs? Are they worthless? I think we've answered that question. Saquon gets paid. Josh Jacobs gets paid. Teams need them. I guess this is linked to the next part, though. This year, quarterback play, 2 high safeties. I heard you say this, and I've heard a couple other smart NFL people say this, that there's a lot of talented quarterbacks, but there's not a lot of great quarterback play happening right now. Is that what we're seeing right now in the NFL? Is just that we're such quarterback essentialists. However, there's not really that many actually good ones at playing the position.
Yeah, follow Kurt Warner, man. Kurt Warner he is breaking his notepad every single week watching the film. He said he had to turn it off twice today. They're just bad right now, man. I don't know, like it's hard to describe. And like the guys that are like playing well are the people that people don't like, So Like even I was watching Justin Herbert against the Panthers, getting ready for the Panthers game. He did not look good. He was missing wide open guys all over the field. No. It's weird, man. They just don't look good right now. And I think it's just the NFL tried so hard to stop Mahomes. Now the league is stopping everybody at this point. So that's what's really happening.
The Mahomes thing is so interesting because I remember I did a video on this where I think like there's this Steph Curry thing with Mahomes where I'm not comparing the two guys, though I do think the Chiefs and the Warriors are very similar in how they go about things. Where Curry he's a guy he can be one-on-one contested, fade away and hit a three. And you'll see guys in college immediately thinking they can do that. And the Trey Young is a guy, an example, not nearly as good, not nearly as effective and all that. And I think with Patrick Mahomes, you have literal college players that are impersonating him, like Dylan Raiola. But then you have play style people like Zach Wilson, the drifting. And Mahomes is, we'll talk about him, but like Mahomes is so good at playing actual quarterback. And even he's having a little bit of an interesting start to the year. But does a lot of things on time in the pocket and has that ability. Whereas college quarterbacks go, no, I just need to be I can just do Madden stick drifting and play quarterback because I have a big arm. And sometimes it works. And fans consume these clips in 3 or 4 clips of like, whoa, my gosh, and crazy throw. And they think that guy's good. But if you watch him snap by snap, you're like, it's some of the most frustrating stuff in the world to watch a quarterback be allergic to the pocket.
Yeah. I mean, and you can see it with Jaden Daniels too, man. Jaden Daniels was getting a lot of hate from a lot of people because he doesn't have any really crazy throws on film. Like, and you see him, he's clearly the best quarterback out of this rookie class so far. And he looked like he was ready to play from the get-go. So a lot of people they get too into the wild throws and try to figure out who can actually play NFL quarterback.
All sizzle, no steak. Yeah, it's exactly, kind of. Yeah, didn't Kurt Warner say it's like the worst quarterbacking he's ever seen? Like he's just saying this is the worst year it's ever been. Yeah,
I love him. But you get like people. NFL's become so weird, and so like there's legitimate like youth fetishes.
Yeah,
in the NFL where they're like these young guys. This is the new era. That stuff. It's like the beauty of the NFL is that it corrects itself a lot of times. Whenever there's a new trend, remember the Wildcat with Ronnie Brown?
Yeah.
Back in the day? See ya. That was gone in like a year. And so it's this kind of ecosystem that corrects itself. And then you got guys like Mel Kiper saying, no, we need to cater to this style of play. And I don't know if he actually suggested to ban 2 high safeties, but he's talking about like looking into it as if defenses aren't policed harder than they've ever been already. So it's like instead of letting these quarterbacks figure out, maybe that's not the way I need to be playing. They want to cater to that sloppy style of play. So something to think about, guys. Now, Sai, I handed you the list, and I want to just get right to it.
Let's do it.
Yeah, do we even need to do this first one? Or AFC East, Buffalo Bills, Sean McDermott, Beta, next coach.
Mark, you go ahead and go first.
Sean McDermott. This is an interesting one. I'm gonna lean Beta a little bit this year. I don't know what I did last year. I don't know. I don't remember. I was trying to remember who
he was losing his magic last year.
He was losing his magic. Yeah. But I think he's riding Josh Allen at this point. I think
literally
having to get rid of Stephon Diggs to me says a lot because I don't think Stephon Diggs is that much of a headache. He just isn't. He's just a guy who wants the football and he's a little bit of a wild guy. He's just gonna tell you how he feels, but I don't think he's that much of a headache where he's like doesn't block or doesn't do a lot of those weird things. He's just a guy who's going to tell you how he feels. And I think when you're a good coach, you can handle those type of guys because he's not like, to me, he's just not that crazy. And then you saw last night what Josh Allen looks like when he's not playing the Jags or he's not playing whoever the hell they've been playing. In those first 3 games, the Dolphins without Tua gets hurt right away. The Dolphins, they go right up and beat down the Dolphins. They play the Cardinals. The Cardinals gave them a game, right? And now we look back, the Cardinals are not good, right? And then so they got their ass beat yesterday by the Commanders. Like they just got beat down, it was unstoppable, right? So now you look at it. Okay, the Bills haven't beat anybody. Are they really as good as they are as a 3-0 start? And they play a team, the first really good team they play, and they get their butts kicked. So, and it's kind of been like that for them for the longest. It felt like that's why I feel like they get in the playoffs. They lose because they always win that first game. They always the 2 seed, right? So they always win that first game against whatever 7 seed is there. Like could be Mason
Saturday
Rudolph.
at 7 a.m.
It's Mason Rudolph, it's Skylar Thompson. You know what I mean? That's what they're playing. They're playing the team that like fell into the playoffs. And they go beat them down, and then the next round they go lose. And that's what it felt like with Sean McDermott. So I'm going Beta with this year with Sean. I think he's I still think there's a chance he might get fired.
I think so too, and it's been a long running joke. I'm manifesting Josh Allen to the Raiders really, really bad. So I need it to end poorly. The hot start only adds to the Shakespearean tragedy, in my opinion. Yeah. But when you fail so many times after so much hype, like that does breed the meltdowns. And Buffalo's a very fun fan base. They definitely had their run in the late 80s, early 90s, where they lost 4 straight Super Bowls. Again, still very good teams. They hadn't been very good since. So Josh Allen, Sean McDermott, all these people, when you bring in like a competent staff as opposed to what you had in the past, they end up looking – your fan base gives them more leeway. I think that's running out. And I got to give a shout out. He left me a voicemail when we were first going to do this. I don't want to play it now because I want to hear I'm sure he's going to have more comments on it, especially after the game last night. His name is the 13 Seconds Truther on Twitter. And if anybody doesn't know what 13 seconds is, they lost a Chiefs game in 13 seconds where Tyreek Hill. And I remember when we said we didn't feel like that was Sean McDermott's fault. I woke up to a DM. It was long. It was a long DM. And I was kind of like, damn, that's harsh. And he's like, no, McDermott did this, and this. He's horseshit coach, dude. I'm a Bills fan. Trust me, I know this. I'm like, all right, well, whatever. I think he's right. I think McDermott is just he's like an NPC non-factor coach. I think it's just everyone
follow that guy's account. He's seriously one of the best.
At Lurker,
the LERKER, the THE.
One of the goats.
Funny, dude.
Like I love these kind of like team account, like guys that follow one team and know everything.
Yeah.
They're
Damar Hamlin memes, dude. The 4th and 4 punt, the fake punt.
Yeah,
dude,
make a wish. Yeah, that's the other thing, dude. I'm sorry, you ran a fake punt with Damar Hamlin in
your own
playoff game against the team that you can't beat. And
exactly.
To me, that is not an alpha move.
What did McDermott say about that? He's like, I couldn't have lived with myself if I didn't run that play. Actually, it's like, shut the fuck up, dude.
I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's happening there. I think they're due for the same thing. I think they're due for this kind of Groundhog Day scenario. It's a sad place to be in because you have a fun ride throughout the season. There's teams you beat. Josh Allen's very good. He's still an MVP candidate in my opinion, even though he had a stinker last night and they got really exposed, especially on really on both sides of the ball. But I got to go Beta. I'm sorry. I'm not feeling them.
Yeah, not at all. All right. So we got, this is a guy I've been maybe faded a little too early, but I think I think we're all on this. Mike McDaniel, Miami Dolphins, alpha or beta, you guys?
I'm going to switch it up this year. I'm going to go alpha with Mike McDaniel.
Wow.
I'm going to go alpha just because watching Hard Knocks. I watched Hard Knocks. I don't know if you guys watched that last year. And I think that kind of changed my mind about how he leads his football team. I think they play really hard for him just because the way he handles it. I think he shows a lot of good leadership skills, actually. And he's not as weird as he comes off in the stupid press conferences. Like when he's talking to his team, versus press conference, like what we see from him is totally different than he looks like in the press conference. I think he has a really good control of what he likes to do. And I think he's more intense than people can give him credit for. Like watching Hard Knocks, like I would never be on alpha on this side. To be honest, I would be right back to beta. Just like I'm sure Glenn's gonna go with the beta on this one. But his Hard Knocks kind of changed my mind on him a little bit, just because I think he's a lot more intense and a lot more like stricter and a lot more harder on that team than he's given credit for. Because I just think he goes to the press conference, he just seems like a wuss. But like when he's talking to that football team, it's a little different. So Hard Knocks kind of changed my mind on him a little bit and some of the stuff that he was saying. But I feel like he has a little bit of like a weaker Gruden, where it's like, he's like a weak, like, I don't know. Gruden
Players
is
guy.
He's the ultimate alpha. I was talk about the show, like, where's Gruden going? Because he's going somewhere next year. I don't care what he says. He's getting hired. So, it's weird. So I'm like leaning towards alpha a little bit, but it's like I'm like right in the middle on this one. So
yeah, it's interesting with McDaniel. I'm going to go beta because it's more of a personnel thing, and obviously he's not the GM of the team, but he is the offensive mind of the team, and it kind of feels like when you watch, it's clear that they're trying to be the next like a supercharged 49ers on offense. Is what they're trying to do. Tua's got a little bit of that Brock Purdy kind of situation where it's just like not the greatest arm, but he's supposed to be a quick decision maker and a pretty good improviser and get that. But it seems like they're trying to build this thing without the engine. without the nuts and bolts that the Niners have. Like, where's their Jawan Jennings on this team? They don't have that like that crazy junkyard dog wide receiver. They don't have that. They have a bunch of small guys who in September and October they look like this. Not this year, but in years past, they look like the fastest team that nobody can cover. There's also this media angle that really makes me hate Mike McDaniel because it's just everybody. I feel like people think it's bullying if you don't like him, and it's like, oh, okay, come on, like it's an NFL coach, and and I'm sympathetic. I bet you he's probably a decent guy. Like if I met him, he's probably pretty cool. Like it's just like there's a comedian named Dan Soder who's really like good friends with. I don't know how, but he's like really good friends with him. And you hear these stories, and you're like, he probably is super cool. I just hate the way that every year you seem like a hater when you're like, that's not going to work in December and January, and they're like, oh, boomer, okay, boomer, and it's like then it doesn't work, and they blame Tua's concussions or something. And it's like, no, I told you it's because they have to go play in the snow. They play in the AFC East. There's outdoor stadiums. That you have to win in, and in the AFC you got to go play at Cincinnati, at Kansas City, all these other stadiums that to get to there. And where is that physicality? And if he decided, no, I want to do some like Matt LaFleur. I think Matt LaFleur is what I want Mike McDaniel to be, is more of a Matt LaFleur, and he's just kind of this like hollow speed guy, and I don't know. That's why I say beta.
All right. I also think I don't know what you guys think, but I think his shit's being done better by other coaches now. Like the stuff he kind of pioneered, you know? Mm-hmm. But I just can't fuck with a Yale wide receiver, dude. I'm sorry. But I got respect. But all right. Here, this is an interesting one. Patriots, Jerod Mayo, first year head coach, succeeding Bill Belichick.
I'm gonna go alpha with Jerod Mayo because I like how he just tells it how it is, and he doesn't care about anybody or anybody the media thinks or anybody says. He said some crazy stuff like what he said. Jacoby Brissett, he's like, that was he's the slowest black quarterback in football. I didn't
see that. Where's the lie, by the way?
Where's the lie, right? Right. He's not lying. And I like how he's handling Drake May. Like he doesn't care if you guys want Drake May to play. He doesn't care. He's like, Drake May's going to get killed. And I'm not going to go get my future killed. I'm tied to this guy. I'm not gonna watch him lose all his confidence just because I'm gonna win. And I think he has Robert Kraft behind his back, and I think he still has that locker room. I think even how he handled Matt Judon. I think that Matt Judon wanted out. I thought he did a good job of handling that. So I think they're still playing pretty decent defense over there too. They lost Christian Barmore. You know what I mean? They lost some guys, and but I still think that he is the guy that can kind of that new type of Belichick where it's not the same, but it's a little bit different.
I think you're on the nose. When they first hired him, I remember I'm like you, Marcus. I'm all ball, dude. Like I don't want to hear about all this. Like, Antonio Pierce gets hired for the Raiders, and they're just like, man, how did he get that job? And then Jerod Mayo, they're like, this is a social pioneering thing. Like, Robert Kraft hired an African American guy. I'm like, okay, what? I didn't like the way he was being presented to me. Yeah. But I will say, when first off, I love the way he's handling the Drake May thing. They do have the worst offensive line in football. Watch what happened to Bryce Young last year. The same thing would happen to Drake May. And even though I think Drake May is a better player than Bryce Young, a more toolsier guy to invest in, it's first off, you leave yourself an extra year to where you don't get fired in the first year. You're like, well, I got Drake May though, so you got to let me kind of establish my business here. And you're right, they're playing pretty good defense. I watched them get beat pretty bad by the Niners. However, it just looked like they just couldn't do anything on offense with, as you said, Jacoby Brissett, the slow cooker quarterback. He is just horrible. I mean, I'm sure he's a great guy because he always gets a job. He always has
Max
a job.
Crosby loves him. He thinks he's underrated. I remember him saying that on his pod. He's like,
Max Crosby. I think he was talking about Cleveland needed to extend Joe Flacco. Defensive players are really stupid when it comes to quarterback. They're really dumb. Like I love Matt. I would get a Max Crosby tattoo. I would get my body tattooed in Max Crosby tattoos the way he has tattoos. But he's wrong about that. And I like Jerod Mayo. I think they made the right move. You kind of want to bring in like a new age Belichick, and what better way to try it?
Yeah, for sure.
Cool. All right. Robert Saleh, New York Jets.
He's bid all the time. Is he even the coach of that team? Is he the coach?
He's absolutely not.
Dude, the 3-second touchdown celebration clip, Aaron Rodgers and him, that summed it all up. And No words spoken, dude. It was just that alone was incredible.
Yeah, he has no control of that team, man. I mean, if Aaron Rodgers leaves, that team just goes out the window. They play good defense, but to me, they don't. I mean, they played the Broncos this week. We'll see how good that defense is. But I think they lost some players. They lost a little pass rush. I think they're still more beatable on defense. And this, to me, even if you have Aaron Rodgers, like if you see how bad Nathaniel Hackett is, if you're really alpha, you fire him. Like, I don't care. I don't care, Aaron. Like, what do you get asked for a trade now, Aaron? Like, you went out just because I got rid of Nathaniel Hackett, and you can see how their offense looks now. It doesn't look like it's any better. You know what I mean? With Hackett calling plays. So I think that's a big beta move too. Like, your quarterback chooses the offensive coordinator. No, you choose the offensive coordinator. You choose who makes the plays.
Yeah.
You choose who, and if it's not working and it's ugly and you feel like it's going to be bad, like you want somebody. What if Rodgers goes down again? What is Hackett going to do? Nothing. So I think that's Aaron Rodgers' football team at this point. Aaron Rodgers runs the show. He probably calls the defensive plays too, to be honest. So it's
a cool experiment. It's an interesting. I'm watching with bated breath.
And in New York too, especially where everybody cares. And it's a team that they have these faux high expectations, but it's like you guys always suck. So I don't understand what the expectations are. But it's just you hear Empire State of Mind, the instrumental, and like Aaron Rodgers in there, and it's like okay, great, okay, Mike Greenberg. Let's hear about all the Jets' great history of not winning anything.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the thing with Robert Saleh. Robert Saleh I like what he does on defense. I think the 49ers are licking their chops for him to be fired so he could be the defensive coordinator for the 49ers again. And I think they might even plant false flag information to get him fired at this point because like they might create fake Gruden emails or something and do this. And he but I think my problem with Robert Saleh is that I think he needs to just be like this primal freak defensive coordinator, but he has this kind of like Manscaped, like kind of like Rich Dad Poor Dad Rise and Grind like book collection thing that he has where he's like, if you do 10,000 hours of anything you could become an expert. It's like, dude, I wanted to see you have like a raw piece of meat in your mouth and like blood running down your shirt. Like that's the kind of coach you need to be, and he won't do it. And there's this kind of like suit and tie thing that he does that I just don't really mess with at all. And I like their defense. I think their defense is good. Definitely not as good as it's being billed as. And then I'm sorry, man, I like Aaron Rodgers, the player growing up a lot. I like Aaron Rodgers, the person off the field. I want him nowhere near anything I'm a fan of right now. It just isn't working. I don't think like his body language in that. I had the under in that Denver game, man, and it was just like it was just at no point at a threat. And Denver's got a good defense for sure, but he just like Rodgers is like missing blitzes. It seems like he's like he's like these guys are like something you and I could like point out, and he's just like getting blindsided on blitzes. I just don't. And he's blaming. Rodgers is. I'm sorry, he's blaming the. I feel bad like counter signaling the guy, to be honest, because like a lot of my worst enemies use him as like the worst memes ever. But you go up there saying like. They ask him about his cadences and all this stuff. And he's just like, our offensive line, we need to do this more effectively. It's like, but you weren't there at camp to install it. You weren't there. So maybe the whole lineman should have gone on the retreat with them. I will say that might be the thing. Nobody shows up to camp. You all go on a retreat and then play week one. Maybe that would have been better. I don't know. I don't know what the Jets' solution is. They think Davante Adams is going to save them. Like, that's my favorite thing. Go ahead. Go trade for Davante Adams. You guys have the same record as the Raiders, by the way.
I know.
And all I hear about is that he's already a Jet. Oh, he's already a Jet. It's already a thing.
No.
I'll say this. Like, him and Garrett Wilson would be a good wide receiver combination, I guess. But I wouldn't be so concerned about the draft pick I'd be getting back if I was the Raiders. I'd be like, pick 16. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Beta. Let's move on.
Let's do it.
We're in the north now of the AFC. John Harbaugh. Yeah, that's right. Baltimore Ravens.
I mean, this is easy. John Harbaugh's the alpha guy. He's a Harbaugh, so I mean that's pretty much. I mean, they have alpha dinners for Thanksgiving. Yeah. So
special teams. You can't be beta. Special teams guy.
No. And he wins, man. He always finds a way to win. I mean, they started 0-2. They're 2-2 right now. They just beat down the Bills. They're a good football team. He's a great coach. I think going away from Greg Roman took a lot. That's like the Harbaugh guy. It's like if you're a Harbaugh, you got to have Greg Roman around. So at some point, he's like, I don't know. He's like, maybe, I don't know if he's married to like their sister or something. I don't know. But they love Greg Roman. And for him to break that tie, I think that says a lot about him too. Because that probably took a lot, man. That probably was a hard conversation for him. Probably Jim probably called him, like, "What are you doing? Like, why are you getting rid of Greg?" There was probably a whole thing at the family dinner about that. Like, why? Greg does so many great things for us, and that took a lot to move to Todd Monken and more, NFL style offense. And you see the benefits of that already for Lamar Jackson, won MVP. I really don't think he deserved it that much, but he won the MVP. He's still playing a lot better. He's still passing a lot better. But so you just see the benefits of that. And then Harbaugh just, just that whole organization and the identity that they have, it hasn't changed. So, yeah, he's a big-time alpha.
Oh, yeah, it's without question. I mean, the Ravens, some people are saying they're the best team in football right now. I don't know that I agree quite off the bat. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's all over the place. Like, and I agree that they were better than the way they started, obviously. Like, they weren't this, like, disaster team. But a lot of it's because of Harbaugh. I mean, they have a young offensive line, and it was kind of banged up a little bit. It's getting better. It looked fantastic last night against the Bills, I thought. And he just seems cool. He seems like the cooler one, too, out of the two.
Oh, yeah.
Jim is the outwardly alpha one, whereas John Harbaugh does the true alpha thing where it's like, I don't need to tell you that I am. You just go turn on a game and watch the press conference. And, I think he's great. I think the whole Ravens, like when they show up in the blacked out uniforms and Harbaugh comes out of the tunnel, I mean, it's pretty insane. It's I think that that division is so interesting because I want to say that they're going to come out and win this division, despite the Steelers starting hot. But whenever these teams play each other, it turns into like what I said earlier about Robert Saleh. It turns into the inverse. It doesn't seem like football's being played. It seems like a straight up war. Like, when these teams play, and whoever just woke up feeling the best that day wins. And I think Harbaugh's the guy you want when that's your division. I think he's perfect for the Ravens. I think if they were to ever let him go, which they're very loyal to their coaches, so they probably won't. If they were to let him go, it would be one of the biggest mistakes in franchise history.
Oh yeah, I don't see that ever happening anytime soon.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. All right. Zach Taylor, Bengals.
I'm gonna go beta for Zach Taylor, just because I don't know. There's something about that team. Like, I don't understand how you always start off slow.
Yes.
Like what is happening? And then it feels like Joe Burrow comes and saves you, right? Because Joe Burrow is Joe Burrow, right? Mm-hmm. You can kind of tell. I think they missed Brian Callahan already. I think Callahan was a little more of the alpha, which we'll kind of get to that later, I guess, because it's some foreshadowing. But I think he's a little bit more of that guy that was pushing Burrow a little bit, probably a little tougher on Burrow. Because I remember this comment he had about Derek Carr, how like he didn't like coaching Derek Carr because he couldn't tell Derek Carr the truth when he first got there, and that's what the kind of guy Callahan is, right? So I think Callahan probably had a pretty good relationship with Burrow, and even probably that offense where he could control those guys' minds. Now you see Jamar Chase, he's just I ain't getting the ball, he's crying everywhere. T. Higgins, all those guys are all upset all the time. The defense isn't playing very well anymore. Just the attitude of that team is just kind of gone. And I think he's gonna get fired. I think that's where Gruden's going. I think Gruden's going to Cincinnati.
Oh, what a call, dude! That would be insane if you did.
Joe Burrow win 2 MVPs, bro.
That'd be crazy.
And I'm such a Bengals apologist. Everybody makes fun of me. I think they're great. I think they're a great team. I love Joe Burrow. I think he's among a couple other guys. He's that combination of what the new age quarterbacks do, extending the play, making the throw, and then what the old school guys do. I think he's that good combination. Now they lost their right tackle Trent Brown for the year. They're gonna have to play Amarius Mims. We'll see how that goes. But Zach Taylor, I forget he's the coach half the time. I watch and you see on the sideline, you see that dumb little face he makes, and you just see on the sidelines, and it's really cold. He's not a cold weather guy. You look at him, you're like, that guy I need to put a blanket on that guy. It's just this isn't for him. This isn't for him. Yeah, he needs to just nuzzle up somewhere. Like he needs to he's like, oh, this car has seat warmers. He seems like one of those guys. And I just don't like him. And I think why do they always start slow? There's no install of the offense. It's your offense.
It's been the same offense for 5 years.
Yeah. It's not like a defensive coach I get. It's like, look, we lost our offensive coordinator. He's a head coach now. We brought in a new scheme. It's going to take a little bit of time. But with Zach Taylor, he's just like, what do you mean started slow? I think we look good, and look, they need to win. Like they need to win because their ownership is so cheap. I saw this tweet from the Bengals player where it's like, we can't pay so-and-so because we're saving money for Jamar Chase, who we haven't paid, which is what we told T. Higgins, who we also haven't paid. And it's like, they don't pay their guys. So it's like, One of those guys is leaving. I don't think it's Jamar Chase. I think it's gonna be T. Higgins. I think T. Higgins will be an Arizona Cardinal, would be my guess. At some
Raider, dude. Come on.
What about? I would take them. They got a lot of receivers right now.
Yeah, the Raiders got a lot of receivers.
Yeah, I would. I like T. Higgins.
If they get rid of it, that's something that I would be like, you need to do that.
Devontae Adams for T. Higgins and a pick. Yeah, and a pick. And a pick or something.
Yeah, and a pick or something.
I'd think about it. But no, there's he's just not Himothy, dude. I just hate to say it. Like, it's just Zach Taylor. Just never once where I've been like, God, that was a brilliant decision by Zach Taylor.
No.
Yeah, I know. For real.
Players bailing him out rather than he just doesn't look like he's in control. He looks like he's way too much of a player's coach. And by the way, when you're too much of a player's coach, that the players pretend that they like you until they don't get paid, and then they see you as a mark. And I think that's
really bad.
And that's what I think is happening in Cincinnati right now. So I expect them to be good, by the way. I expect them to bounce back, by the way. I don't think they're that bad of a team. Their defense needs a lot of help, though, because their defense stinks right now. But all right, next up.
Right, yeah, we got the Browns, Kevin Stefanski.
This is tough. I'm gonna go Alpha because I think he does win a lot.
Yeah.
Right. With
last year, quarterbacks, all that was crazy, dude.
He's coached the year twice.
Yeah.
Right. Even though you could decide whether how he handled Baker Mayfield, but I think him and Baker Mayfield just had a clash of personalities. I think because Baker kind of wants to do his thing. Like Baker's over here talking about he's better than Tom Brady. He's a better leader.
Yeah.
So that just tells you Baker Mayfield's personality, right? And how I can clash with the coach. But I think Stefanski, he always has those guys set. I mean, he didn't pick Deshaun Watson. It wasn't him. That was the Haslams, right? He didn't pick Deshaun Watson.
No.
He probably wouldn't have went that route anyways. So that was what the Haslams wanted to do. They wanted to make that move for him. And since they ended up doing that, it ended up kind of putting his team backwards because you see how it looked when he just had Joe Flacco. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like it made it happen. They ended up making the playoffs like when they really shouldn't have, like won 11 games or some shit like that. So I like Stefanski a lot. I think he's a pretty good damn coach.
Yeah, I think he does a great job. And I will say this: I feel like Browns fans can't hate me too much because I'm there, like the poverty franchise thing. Like I'm a fan of one of those franchises too, so I get it. It's a special kind of torture when you have a pretty good team that has one fatal flaw.
Yeah.
And the fatal flaw restructured its contract to make next year's cap number $72 million. I don't understand how that happened. I don't understand what their play is. Wouldn't you want to like upfront load it like as much as you possibly? I would literally pay this dude to not do anything. Like I would straight up because the thing about Watson, and I'm a guy where I don't care what you do off the field most of the time. If the league allows you to play and the justice system allows you to play, I'm not going to hold that against you for the most part. Like Tyreek Hill's allowed to play every Sunday and he's done some evil stuff. And the thing with Deshaun Watson is you watch him play and you're like, does anybody like him? Like some of his teammates could be like, look, man, what he does on that table, man, he's a little freak. Deshaun's a little nasty, but like he's the guy though, Deshaun just done it. He's the guy. He at the bar, you wouldn't even know that. You don't hear that from anybody. And he truly is that next level of hell for a fan base where it's like it's not where you have no talent. Dude, they have some talent on that team. There's some good players on that team, especially on defense. Yeah. And it's a special kind of hell knowing that there's this absolute albatross of a contract that is at the most important position that you traded 3 first-round picks for and gave the fully guaranteed money to. And that's not Stefanski's fault. I'm sorry. Like I can't, and I hope he's not a casualty of the Deshaun Watson fallout because the Haslams, I feel like they're going to want to pin it on somebody. And, what do you want to get Mike Pettin back as your coach? Like, I mean, you have Kevin Stefanski. I think he's very good. I like his offense. They're going to get Nick Chubb back. I think we'll see if he's any good. And I think it might be Jameis time, dude. Jameis is a spiritual healer, and
Seriously.
I think Jameis needs to help them eat some W's, dude. Like you can do that. Like and next year if they bottom out, they need to just take the quarterback and tell Deshaun, like, look, you're getting paid to do nothing. If you want, we would prefer if you actually didn't show up too.
They might have to eat that money, man.
Jameis is the true. You got Deshaun, sexual assault, bad at football. Jameis, sexual assault, might take them to the promised land. I'm just like, it's like, how are you the sexual assault guy and you're bad? I'm not trying to make light of it, but how are you bad?
No, I agree. No, I literally was trying to say that, like that exact same thing where I'm like, there are certain guys where it's like, Ben Roethlisberger, like all these guys, like it's not like that unique of a situation that they're in, but it's just that like Deshaun Watson, nobody seems to just be like, damn, man, he's hella cool.
They don't like him.
He's just not. NFL players don't think about what you do off the field a lot of times, is what I mean when they talk about their evaluation of you. And there's nobody coming to play for him. And I talked to Browns fans. Raiders just beat them yesterday, and nobody was like, man, fuck the Raiders. They're all just like, man, I want to end it all, you know? And I'm just like, I feel really bad because I like when they're good. I like when they're good. I like when the Lions are good. I like when all the poverty franchises are good. Jaguars. I want all these teams to rise up, dude. This is like a working class revolution in the NFL is what I want. For all the meek shall inherit the earth.
Exactly.
You got to get rid of the evil, though, dude. You got to take Sage to Deshaun Watson. You got to sage him out of the building.
Yes, you do.
Yeah. All right. Next.
A lot of it.
We got the classic Coke, the Pittsburgh Steelers, Mike Tomlin.
Oh, this one's easy. You kind of just skip past this. Yeah, he's alpha, man. I think not even playing Russell Wilson this year. I don't think Justin Fields is even playing that well.
Love it.
I don't think he's playing that well. He's like, you know what? I don't know.
Nah. Yeah.
I'm gonna play Justin Fields just because we're gonna ride the hot hand. Sierra's at the game still. There's a whole bunch of things like that. He doesn't care. Like, there's a lot of pressure for him to play Russell Wilson. You know what I mean? Like, and that's what I'm talking about. Like, it's the opposite of, like, he's gonna fire a coach when he has to fire a coach. He's gonna do some of those things. The way he handles the players and the personalities that he has, and he still doesn't have a losing season, man. And he went through a quarterback hell for a little bit. Kenny Pickett. They got rid of Kenny Pickett really quick. Right? Kenny Pickett said a couple words to him that was wrong. Boop, you're out. You're the backup for the Eagles. So those he's Mike Tomlin, man. Mike Tomlin's the ultimate. So
I think I mean, he's just an evergreen alpha. I mean, I can't imagine a scenario where he ever wouldn't be. He's you know what you're getting with him, and it kind of feels like he has the team that he's always wanted to, like that Justin Fields and Arthur Smith. I loved the combination when they did it. I don't think Justin Fields works everywhere. I don't think Arthur Smith works everywhere. I know one place they work at it. It's Pittsburgh. And I heard the way that Arthur Smith got hired for the job, which I thought was funny because he got fired from Atlanta. And we've talked about Arthur Smith on this show a lot. I've always liked them because I just love coaches that just run into brick walls. I think it's really fun to watch, especially when it's not my own team. And we know he can run the football. That's exactly what Tomlin's going to want, is a guy that can run the football. And I guess Arthur Smith, because he's rich, he comes from the FedEx royalty family, so he's never going to be hurting for another job if he does, unless he wants.
That's the crazy taking a pay cut to be an NFL head coach.
I know, that's what I mean. Crazy, it's a stressful job, years off your life. Yeah. And instead of being Kendall Roy, which also years off your life, but I guess maybe there was no way to actually extend your life there. But he ended up, I guess he was like in vacation somewhere in like Turks and Caicos or like some random like place, and like Mike Tomlin was like, "Hey man, what are you doing?" And he's just like, "Oh, it's like, I don't know, I just got fired. I'm just kind of like vibing out with my wife and stuff on vacation." He's like, "No, dude, you're my guy." Yeah. And it looks really cool what they have. The problem with that team is it's such a TJ Watt team. And if TJ Watt's, he goes down all the time, and it's always like some weird pectoral thing, like a very like random motion, like stepping wrong, or like a it's never just like some lineman rolled up on his ankle, or so. It's always some kind of Watt brother injury that happens. And if he goes down, I think the team loses its identity a little bit. I think they could still be 9-8, but I think if he stays healthy, this is a division. And the battles they're going to have late in the year with the Ravens, I expect the Bengals to at least get kind of competitive in that division. It's going to be legendary. I think both North divisions are really fun this year. So Alpha, Mike Tomlin, of course.
Right on. Yeah. All right. Moving on to the South. Houston Texans, Demeco Ryan.
Yeah, Demeco Ryan's a big time alpha. I think he's definitely a leader over there. I mean, he turned that Texans team around really quick. And you can just tell how tough that team is. I mean, they should have beat the Jags the other day, yesterday. But they ended up pulling that game out just because, of course, CJ Stroud and the leadership that he brings. But Demeco Ryans, I mean, he had a badass defense. He comes over to the Texans. He has a badass defense with them. I mean, the Texans aren't as good as defense. They don't have the same players they had with the 49ers, but they're still just him and his attitude. And he's just like just chill. Like, you never hear him like get crazy or anything like that. He's just a big chill guy who just everybody loves to play for him, right? So he doesn't really get loud or anything like that, but you could just tell by his demeanor. He still don't smile though. I never really see him smile. I don't know about you guys, but I've never seen him smile. So he's still intense as hell, but they really like him and like what he does.
Yeah, it's funny. Like Demeco Ryans looks like a guy like who would be like in a Morris Chestnut movie or something. Like he kind of just has that like really calm like look about him. He's like if Morris Chestnut's dating a girl in a movie, he's like the other guy that she ends up with or something like that. And it's just like, I got to get her back, man. This dude's so crazy and like he's good at everything. I got to find his fatal flaw. I do wonder though about this team. Something's missing. I don't know. Like I watch them, something's missing. I don't know if it's defense. I mean, they added Danielle Hunter in the offseason.
Mm-hmm.
Like they do what they're so Derek Stingley's really good. All this stuff. I watch them and it's like, man, it just doesn't look as good last year. It's not Stroud. Stroud looks great. Nico Collins looks great. They're integrating Stephon Diggs. I think that's gonna grow as the season goes on. Tank Dell's been hurt, but man, something is missing with this team. And I think I was never nobody was more wrong on a quarterback ever than I was about Stroud because I actually love him. Like I watch him. I'm like, this is so cool. This is a pocket passer that has the ability to make all the exciting plays that everyone wants to watch, the TikTokification of the NFL. He can do both of those things. And with Ryans, it's like, maybe it's defense. And I'm like, man, whenever the defensive coaches, their defense doesn't look right, I'm always like, man, yeah. And you can tell it eats at them. You know, they want Stroud to win 19-10 and have to say to the offensive coordinator, get your quarterback right. Quarterback right. And it's like, to me, we're not winning in a defensive fashion. And I'm going to lean alpha, but by the end of the year, if it's not looking right, I'm like, man, Demeco, I got to see it. I mean, Marcus, am I wrong? Does it look different? I don't know.
Yeah, they do. I think one thing is the line's not as good. CJ Stroud's under pressure a lot.
Yeah,
that's one thing, and they're not running the ball really well, and it's just on defense. They're just not dominant,
right?
So like, that's what it is. It's like they're not a dominant defense. Like they could be beat pretty well.
Yeah, they don't make any statements. They're like a little soft, you know. You just doesn't literally pop off the screen on the.
It's very indoor team. It's very indoor team. That whole division aesthetically is the worst aesthetic in the NFL. Indoor games with nobody looks fast, even though you know they are. And I just, man, I'm going for them because I think that could be a Mahomes dethroner situation. Like I think Houston has the goods to do it, but they're going to need to see Steve Spagnuolo and be like, go blow for blow with him. And I'm a little scared right now. Now it's a short season, or it's a long season. They're winning games they shouldn't. They're winning. They should have lost to the Jaguars. We're gonna get to why the Jaguars lost, because my lord. But yeah, alpha for now. Tentative alpha for Demeco Ryans. Obviously, you Texans fans should be very happy that they have him.
Yeah.
And I've been screaming at Glenn, not screaming, but at Glenn all offseason. It's really hurtful. Yeah. It's beta. But I'm like, I almost took that. I'm like, I just got a feeling they're gonna barely miss the playoffs this year. I don't know. I love them too. I'm not a hater. Hater. But I'm like, it's just something. Maybe they need to cook a little.
That division's too ass.
It's very ass. That's the problem. They won't be punished. They won't be punished until the playoffs if what I said is true, because they're gonna mow through that division, I think.
Yeah. Speaking of which, let's move on to So I think probably my top three play caller, Shane Steichen, the Indianapolis Colts.
Oh yeah, Shane Steichen, he's an alpha, big time. Just yeah, he is. You know, Jalen Hurts was amazing with him. Now Jalen Hurts does not look the same at all. Gardner Minshew got the Raiders job because of Shane Steichen.
Exactly. Yeah.
For real, right?
Yeah.
And you know, Anthony Richardson, he's like struggling, but for some reason they're still like 2-2. I don't know how that happened. And I think that shows a lot about what Shane Steichen is. Like they're just a well-prepared team. They still run the ball really well. Joe Flacco came in and didn't really change anything. And he just has that team just ready to play every single week. That team is ready to play. And if you don't come to play, they will beat you. It doesn't matter who the quarterback is. And I think that's his mentality and what he's brought to the table as a coach. But, you know, he's a great play caller too, man. He's a great designer, a lot of college stuff mixed in with NFL stuff, a lot of RPOs. And definitely is what every fan wants and when they want to talk about as a coach that designs their system around a player.
He's like paint by numbers, Gardner Minshew, like to throw it here, kind of like make it easy.
I know what you suck at. I'm going to eliminate that.
Yep,
exactly.
Rather than have you prove to me you don't suck at it anymore. And it makes for bad free agency decisions. When you sign a guy that played with Shane Steichen, it's the same thing as signing guys with Kyle Shanahan. It's like he's not coming with you. And Shane Steichen's an alpha. It sucks that he's cursed with a guy who you can smell, like on the ground when you smell like after a rain, you could smell a rib injury with Anthony Richardson. Smells like ribs, probably. Like, yeah, you're just like man, so you could smell it. You just know it's gonna happen. They keep him in. They keep him in after one clearly happened, and he gets another one. And I think it's pretty cool, though. This is the thing I love when coaches do is when they don't have the same style of quarterback backing up their quarterback. He has like a separate Flacco. He's like, if we got to cook with Flacco, I got something, because Flacco's really good. Play action, almost like a fake bootleg, step and then throw across the field. He's so good. That's what Stefanski was doing with him, and I think that's what they're going to do. And I think they got it right with having a good backup this year. I think the Colts are going to be a flirt with the wild card. I still don't love Jonathan Taylor a lot. I think he's going to be one of the most overrated running backs. I think I feel like he should just be dominating the NFL. And I don't know why it seems like he pops out every 3 weeks with a good game rather than being consistent. But I love Shane Steichen. I think he's there for a long time. Unfortunately, I think they're going to have to. I like Anthony Richardson a lot. I just don't know if he's going to be able to last in the NFL. I forget who said it. Somebody on ESPN was like, certain guys fall different. And he's like Richardson falls horrible. Like it was when he hits the ground, it's smack. Like just every part of his body. You can see like the red highlighted, like screens of like infrared injuries happening to him. And it's just, I feel bad for Steichen. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm not saying I like Anthony Richardson. I'm not saying I like the Colts. I've always been kind of a Colts fan.
You have been, yes. Yeah. Reggie Wayne and Marvin Harrison. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. But like, so I'm not saying he's faking, but I'm saying he's not a tough guy, especially given his body, dude. It's like,
I know he's 250 pounds, right? Like,
I know, dude. It's like, come on. Like Rodgers will get Aaron Rodgers will get his hand crushed and he'll like finish a fourth quarter, Yeah. It's just what happened with.
I know. And Anthony Richardson is another guy where you can tell you can tell somebody go, I watched Anthony Richardson, he's the best, and then I'll be like, did you watch the game? They're like, I saw like 5 highlights.
Exactly.
And I saw 5 of his 11 completions in the game. They were
like Jekyll and Hyde, dude.
Richardson starts off throughout the year, throws the craziest deep ball I think I've ever seen.
Craziest throw.
Dude, what the hell? And then throws some of the worst interceptions you'll ever see. And you're like, okay, that's
not
a
even
tough thing.
Coverage, but 2-3 guys that there's not even a receiver there, just like to triple no coverage.
Dude, he's a clipboard breaker quarterback, dude.
He's
a clipboard breaker.
Yeah,
and 100%. Steichen looks real calm during the game, and I think he's got it. So I'm excited. If Flacco's got to play for like 2 or 3 games, I think they'll be fine. I do. So, anyways, go on.
All right, yeah. So we got this is the talk of the all NFL media right now. Doug Pederson.
Doug Pederson's a beta. I was thinking about it before we got to him. I thought that he didn't handle this last game. They're 0-4. I mean, you have Trevor Lawrence. You're supposed to be better. The thing is, like, they kind of got away with it the year one when he came in there and just made them better, right? And they snuck into the playoffs. They got a playoff win because Justin Herbert couldn't throw wide open Keenan Allen, so they ended up getting a playoff win because of that, getting past those 4 interceptions. But even that year when I was watching that film, I'm like, this offense is not going to last. Like, he's just not that type of guy anymore. That's why he got ran out of Philly. His play calling is not that great. They try to ride on Trevor Lawrence. It's not working. They haven't really played great on defense. I don't even know who the coaching staff is over there. They're just kind of just there with Trevor Lawrence. It's kind of just the Jags, and even him blaming like kind of the players, like, oh, it wasn't the coaches, we executed, and I get it. Like, Trevor Lawrence missed some open guys, right? But you're still the coach, man. Like, that's some bullshit. Kind of just throw your team under the bus like that when you're 0-4, man. It's not like you're 3-1 and that you just lost that game. Like, you're 0-4. It's pretty much on you at this point. You got to figure out something. I mean, you're the head coach. You got to figure out something to get these wins for this team, because they're not playing that bad on defense this year, to be honest. I mean, I know they got their ass kicked by the Bills, but I mean, that's the Bills. That could happen to you super quick. But they played the Texans pretty good.
They did.
Yesterday. And then the Browns didn't really do too much on them. But it's just I'm not a big Doug Pederson guy at all. Not at all.
We need to if I'm an owner right now and somebody comes in with a visor to my job interview, not hiring them. I don't know what it is with the visor, but the visor is false confidence. And we saw it with Josh McDaniels for the Raiders. We see it's this like I come from a legendary stock, so therefore you must hire me and my visor. And Gruden deceived everybody by being a boy genius back in the day with a visor. That hasn't been cool since pre-Iraq war. So you got to get rid of these guys. There were 2 towers standing up the last time a visor was cool in the NFL, and this guy is terrible. I do think Trevor Lawrence independently kind of sucks though. It's not okay. Talented as hell. Mm-hmm. He's another guy that if you've seen clips, you're like, oh my God. This is like some of the best throws. He makes those throws. He fumbles all the time. He is 6'6" and mobile. You hardly ever see it. And he's got some good receivers. Brian Thomas looks like a stud. I think. I think he is. And then just with Pederson, it's like there's a thing happening with the Jag. I went to their SB Nation page today because I was like, I don't pay attention to this team at all. It's the team nobody pays attention to. And people said if you switch Daniel Jones and Trevor Lawrence would be getting on billboards everywhere, like get this loser out of here. And Daniel Jones would be like, oh man, he fights hard for our Jaguars. You know, it's like there's a market thing happening with Lawrence and Pederson to the extent where they both of them. I don't think Lawrence gets an extension anywhere else. Not anywhere else, but most places. No winning franchise extends Trevor Lawrence, and then no winning franchise gives Doug Pederson this long of a leash. And I went to their thing, but there's a guy named Press Taylor. Press Taylor, I think, is their offensive coordinator. Press Taylor. Yeah, people are saying he doesn't call the plays, but it's unclear. So I think Pederson is doing the classic I run the show. I'm the guy from Philadelphia. Haha, remember Nick Foles? You know, like he's doing that thing. And you got to if you're hiring the offensive coordinator and like positing that or like saying that he's calling the plays, let him call the plays, you know? And I think he's going to get fired like soon. Like, I don't think he's going to survive the London trip. They're playing 2 weeks there. London is a famous coach dead zone, by the way. Dennis Allen got fired from the Raiders after London. It happens a lot. Like they're just kind of like, hey, bro, like beans on toast, homie. And
that's a home game for them. That's really a home game. The game's in London for them.
Blood sausage, homie. Stay there. You know, like this is for you. Yeah, it is. And they're gonna.
Yeah, it's like a Ted Lasso thing. Just coach soccer over there.
Yeah,
you know.
Doug, dude. That would be a good Netflix movie. Is Doug Pederson just getting fired? And just like, I guess I'll coach these blokes. In football. They're gonna play in London within the next 10 years. Like they're just gonna like be there. By the way, like I know trust me. Nobody knows more than me that when stadium talks don't happen, you're moving. They're trying to get a new stadium out there. It's not gonna happen, and they're gonna go to London, and the NFL globalism will take over. So all right, next up.
Yeah. Also, you spell your name with a D instead of a T. Pederson, like, come on, dude. This like, that's a very like a
podiatrist.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
All right,
great point.
Tennessee Titans. I don't know like a lot, so I'm just all ears on this one. Brian Callahan, Tennessee Titans.
Callahan's alpha just because when Will Levis threw that ball there, he was like, he just went up to, he was like, what the fuck are you doing?
Dude, that's the best clip of the season so far.
I did see that. That was great.
And I just, he's Bill Callahan's son too. You know what I mean? Like,
one of the goats.
Yeah, right. And I think there's that attitude he has, and I think he's a pretty intense guy too. I think he has the stripes. I would like if the Raiders hired him. I would have liked that. If they didn't go with AP, they went Brian Callahan. I would have liked that just because the offensive mind too. Yes. Pretty good offensive guy. He's had to try out Will Levis as quarterback. They got Mason Rudolph in today because Will Levis likes to dive and get hurt. He just loves to he's like the I'm never gonna give up, which I get it. But
hi, I'm Will Levis, and welcome to Jackass. He's running the Callahan offense, and he just starts dance revolution and like pitching the ball backwards. You're like, what the fuck?
Like every week too, bro. Like,
dude, what goes through his head? Like, I just wonder. Like, I just wonder. Like, is there like this like heroic music, like Rocky music playing in his head when he's like scrambling, and he's like, dude, I'm the guy, I am the GOAT, and you're just like, I actually kind of like him. Like, it's weird. I
still would see him on the Raiders. I would prefer him on the Raiders right now.
I would rather have him at least there to know. Like, I would rather have him there right now than what's there. So I can't. And they had a chance. They had a chance to draft him, and whatever happens. But Callahan is an alpha, comes from alpha stock. He looks, I loved the clip where he was yelling at him. If I look at it, look at the play Will Levis did and then what Callahan's reaction was, because it's like I've tried to make the perfect play for you and I couldn't account for what you just did. Like, it's one of the worst things I've ever seen. And with him, he's just kind of like, man, I got to take over this team. The first thing he did was just trenches, hire his dad came back over. And their defense is pretty solid. I think their defense is pretty solid. They definitely could use some improvement, but I think they have some decent disruptors on defense. And the problem is you're just like, damn, my quarterback is drinking like mayonnaise.
Yeah.
And it's like, that'd be cool if like that was just our little secret, but he's like got a mayonnaise commercial now. And you're just like, is this whole thing a joke to you, Will?
Yeah.
You know, like, is this whole thing is like, I'm going to be the funniest quarterback of all time? Like, no, like Callahan's, that's going to end quick. That's going to end quick. And I think they'll be drafting a quarterback high next year. Or they might just draft Ashton Genty out of Boise State and just go trench warfare on them and rush for 2,000 yards. Like, which would be sick. I'm not going to lie. That would be so sick. And like, I could see them doing something weird like that. But anyways, I don't have a lot to say about him. I think I think they got the right guy. I think they did. I think it's just this year's, they were never going to be good this year, but they'll have some growing pains, and everyone knows it's a Levis thing.
Yeah. By the way, Glenn, I saw your tweet as a quick aside. Everyone's all they're like, wow, Boise State, it produces a lot of good players. And you're like, yeah, everyone's that's always
the guy.
Thing,
they said it's running back university. And and they listed the players. I'm like, what? That makes me running. So, okay. Doug Martin, Alexander Madison, Ian Johnson, the guy who did the Statue of Liberty play, who never played in the NFL.
I know.
They were listing these people. I think there's a couple other guys, and Genty looks incredible. He's like one of the incredible. He hit the over for me in that game. I was like, this dude is the goat. And but I'm just laughing because I'm just like, that is not running back. Like Penn State could say that. Penn State could say running back university and shit all over you guys. And they're like, but we're small market. Okay, what are you then? Is that what you're gonna do? Cry now, Boise State? You're blue.
Yeah. So if they said Ian Johnson,
they put Ian Johnson in there. Jeremy McNichols, who did have 2 touchdowns the next day. He did have 2 touchdowns for the Washington Commanders. But like Jeremy McNichols,
Jeremy McNichols.
Am I, as a Notre Dame fan, am I claiming Durham Smythe as a tight end for tight end?
Tight end, you bro. Tight end, you.
I'll go back to Mark Bavaro in the 80s, but I'm not claiming. I'm not even claiming Cole Kmet yet, dude. That's the standard that we've set. So
okay, interesting. Yeah,
dude, we got ballers. Like, you shouldn't have to pull out your like Oklahoma Fiesta Bowl hero, like, in 2007.
Statue of Liberty played.
Yeah, no. I mean, hey, one of the best plays that ever existed. I'm just saying, like, come on. Anyways, let's move on to the West.
Yeah, AFC West. All right, this will be spice. I can't wait to hear this one. Sean Payton, Denver Broncos.
I'm going Sean Payton. Sean Payton's better than me. I'm not a. I hate Sean Payton for some reason. Just something about him. I just don't like him. Him bragging about Bo Nix
before he's done anything, dude. Yeah,
I got the league.
He didn't even throw a touchdown at that point, right? And he's like, "Yeah, we got him yesterday."
First one was yesterday,
dude. And he almost overthrew it.
I know. It was wide open.
I know, dude. Yeah. God,
he had like 60 yards, right? I mean, he had a negative 0.5 YPA for the first half. I'm like, how do you even do that?
Yeah,
I think he, as a person who, the NFC South always seems like this other world to me, where they're all kind of the same team fighting against each other, which is why I like that division a lot. So I never understood why Sean Payton got so much hate down there. The minute he got to the Broncos, I was like, oh God, he's unbearable. I didn't realize the Russell Wilson thing was hilarious. There's a lot of people that had a feeling that wasn't going to be good, myself included. I didn't think people called me a hater. I'm like, no, this isn't going to work. And then they get, he said I tricked the Raiders into not trading up for Bo Nix, and they got Brock Bowers, who, what a scrub, right? Yeah, and so he's just doing this fake tough guy thing. Back in the day, it was kind of funny when it was the Saints and like Greg Williams, Bounty Gate and stuff. You're like, oh, that's crazy. But now it's just like, look, he's got a good defense, but is he putting that defense together? No. That's a Vance Joseph defense. And I think their GM drafts like okay players, but on offense, like all those guys just die there. I don't know if it's the uniforms. I don't know anything. It's just like Cortland Sutton's a good player, very good player,
raw.
I would say. He needs to get out of there, to be honest, if he ever wants to like be good, and then or have the season that he's capable of having. Their run game, Javonte Williams, I've always heard about how he's this great running back. Never seen it once, but it's just like he's constantly doing PR for something that hasn't. He does PR for things that you can't verify. You're like, oh, this is amazing, by the way. And you're like, where? What? Greg Dulcich? Oh, he's amazing? Oh, okay. He's not. Jerry Judy's so good. But anyways, we traded him, and you'll never hear about him ever again. And just like all these guys, dude, like you found a basketball player in Jimmy Graham. Chargers were dumb enough to trade Drew Brees or let Drew Brees go to the Saints. Other than that, we're not hearing about Sean Payton anymore. He's living off of the Drew Brees and Tony Romo coattails, both guys that I think are both just were good and gems. And he's a loser. Our Raiders are playing them this week, so I hope that they win. But they do have a big winning streak against the Broncos, and part of it's because Sean Payton sucks.
Yeah,
they traded the first round pick or second round pick for Sean Payton. They traded for him.
Traded. Bo Nix. I mean, he's like a 4th round quarterback, dude. You know, it's like, I'm sorry, dude. It's
crazy, dude. Yeah, QB inflation was crazy this year, and Raider fans know exactly the conversations we had. And I'm like, these aren't 1st round picks that are getting taken overall. I don't know. Just to me,
no,
personally. All right, next up.
Yeah, I got the boy Andy Reid. Let's go.
Alpha.
I hate it so his stuff it's so gadget, but it works, and it's so annoying that it works, and he's cool. It's hard to hate him. He's the coolest. He's the coolest. So cool. He's the coolest guy on the Chiefs by far.
I know.
You know.
Yeah,
it sucks.
I'm tired of Andy Reid, to be honest.
Yeah.
I'm like, when are you retiring? What are you done? Like, how many Super Bowls do you need?
Dude, he schemed up a play to beat heart disease. That's how good of a play caller he is. He's like, my arteries are in the wing T.
Yeah,
old school.
How is he alive?
I know. Dude.
Like, no, I'm not trying to be mean, but like you're like, this is gonna end bad.
Yeah,
and you're just like, he's just like
dude,
running up
chicken
and down the
nugget commercials and shit. Come on, dude.
When does it end? He's a Mormon.
He got too big. He lost 30 pounds, and then he was all right. I'm all right. I'm back.
He is strong though. Mormons eat like crazy. We've talked about.
I always forget. Yeah,
Mormons, bro, like they eat and it doesn't matter. It's crazy.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Joseph Smith was like more like Joey Chestnut or something. I don't know what. I don't know what happened with them, but yeah, no, he's great. He's the best. I mean, he's the best. He's the best until dethroned. I mean, he's so good. He fixed a lot, and then it's him and Mahomes is probably you can only really say Montana and Walsh as far as like the pairings between quarterback and coach. Like, I really don't think you could ever. There's never been like the best coach with the best quarterback, except for those 2 times. It happens to be the 2 teams I hate. So, wonderful.
Yeah, and I like. I don't know what you guys think about this, and you, Mark, because I know you're an offense guy, but I like how he, because you could tell a lot of coaches I respect. They have super long plays listed in the earpiece, blah blah blah, and then Andy Reid has like cute names for his plays. And he adds like a little character to, he's clearly installing stuff week to week. He's bringing stuff from high school up, like I like that. I like that it's made fun, but not corny, and maybe it is a little corny. I don't know, but it's not just all robotic, adding it like, X fly, Z trip, just like all this crazy add-ons and stuff. He's designing stuff for the moments, I don't know.
And to be honest, I don't think a lot of coaches could handle Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce is more of a wild boy than people like try to, he doesn't get that kind of knack to him. But like that dude, like, does he watch film? I don't think he runs whatever. He does whatever he does. Is he like a film guy? Really? Yeah. I don't know about that. He used to do a reality show. Like he's a little bit kind of what like a normal coach wouldn't be able to handle him, like him going off on the sidelines and doing stuff like that, and some of the antics that Travis Kelce's been doing his whole career. I don't know if another coach could handle him. And that's why I think Andy Reid's pretty special, because Travis Kelce fell to the 3rd round for a reason. Like he's a nut. So, And now he thinks he's untouchable because he's dating Taylor Swift, but now he's old though. So that I'm happy about that.
Doesn't even look good anymore, really. But he's going. You just know that it's going to work, and that's what sucks. Like, dude, I'm sorry, Patrick Mahomes blew a wide receiver's ACL the other day, and I don't think it's going to matter.
No.
They might trade for Amari Cooper, which I would be pissed off.
I actually said that to my dad today. I was like, I bet you Amari Cooper is going to be a Kansas City Chief.
Yeah.
Wow. And you get the Cooper boost when he first gets to a new team and he's like really, really good. They're going to get that for like a couple months.
He gives you 200-yard games a seson.
Exactly. And the Lord knows, the one team he's going to try to do it against because it didn't happen with Cleveland all right. Anyways, moving on.
Yeah, I mean, Antonio Pierce, Las Vegas Raiders.
This is a hot one for the Bucs. This is a hot one.
I think he's alpha though. I think he's alpha still. Yeah. Even
it's hard. You can't call him beta. You can't call him beta. It's like it's hard to say that. Like put that stamp on it. Yeah.
He's a leader for sure. Like he's got the it factor a little bit to me. I think that sometimes I feel like this team is not even as good as they're performing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like I feel like they're overperforming still. Even beating the Ravens, man. I mean, you saw the Ravens last night. They beat them.
That's crazy,
right? I mean, on the road,
from behind.
Yeah. Like that is somebody, the team that believes in the coach. I think that's the reason Adams is even still here. I think Adams believes in him, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think if they hire anybody else, Adams might be gone. I think he does drive a lot of things, and I think even controlling Jack Jones. We talk about some of these things. We talk about controlling the wild guys, and I think that's when you kind of separate these coaches from other coaches. Andy Reid controls Travis Kelce. Doug Pederson, Travis Kelce's yelling at him on the sideline, and he's throwing his helmet at him. It's those things that separate the alpha coaches from the beta coaches. I think is how you handle these crazy ass players in the NFL. Can you handle some of these crazy personalities? And Jack Jones is a nut. I watched him at training camp. That's a crazy dude. I don't know.
He turned him into an viable NFL guy.
Yeah. You know what I mean? And it's still hard to control him, right? Yeah. But he has the balls, which took a lot of balls in my opinion. And it's very high school, but it took a lot of balls to have him sit out there for the whole first quarter because the Browns just attacked Darnay Holmes and they went right down the field and scored 10 points. It could have cost him the whole game. Him doing that.
I think he's a supreme alpha. I actually really. I mean, look, am I biased? If you look at my Twitter thing, it's him in a Caesar outfit. I think he truly, if given time, will be really good. My questions with the Raiders are a lot of times like, look, they lose to the Carolina Panthers week 3 after beating a Baltimore team. And I started getting a little like, oh my God, did he think that they were just head and shoulders, just going to like wipe this team off the earth? And maybe they did. But immediately that changes. So anytime I see him make a mistake, it immediately changes the next week. That's what I love about him. It's not just this, we're going to trust the film. We're going to trust this. The standard is the standard. All these like coach speak stuff. He's actually really transparent. I would even say to a fault. And like to a fault where it's kind of like, hey man, like don't say that. Like, like that might be what's happening, but you don't need to say that. And he caught a lot of flack for his business decision thing, but they're not getting any attention for winning the game after the business decision, by the way, which without Max Crosby, without Devontae Adams, without, Michael Mayer, without a lot of guys that start. Yeah, 5 starters. And they're without that. And it's the Browns. Ha ha ha. No, you know what, dude? Like in the past, we would see these coaches that was similar to what Doug Pederson's doing in Jacksonville. It's a similar thing. When you're a bad franchise, you hire a retread. They come in and they get the freedom that they never had for good reason. They become the GM of the team. They do all these things. They have this mob-like ownership of your little speakeasy where you got to pay this. But I get to draft everybody. I get to do all this stuff. With Antonio Pierce, he's like, I just want to coach ball. And I want to lead men. And they don't commit penalties the way they used to, which is he never gets credit for that. I didn't even think it was possible for a coach to change that. I was getting to the point where I wanted to change the Raiders uniforms to fool the referees. And it's the best uniform in any sport ever. So I'm like, I think this year they don't have a quarterback. They don't have a quarterback. They're going to run into that. We know what the problem is.
About that. Like, dog, they ain't got no damn quarterback. Like, what do you expect them to do for us to be 2-2 right now? And I was watching the film before we got on the show, and Minshew played like shit, man.
It's crazy, bro,
dude.
Like, I think right now, and I saw it the minute he took over last year when they played the New York Giants. Again, not a good team at that time, but their energy. they were a step faster than the team they were playing. It was all this stuff. Are there mistakes? Absolutely. But he's a young coach that you could have I think his trajectory and his ceiling is a Vrabel, Dan Campbell style coach.
Yeah.
He's not there yet, but he knows he's not there yet. That's the part. He doesn't just think he's already there and that he benches guys, he'll sit guys. He finally got Max Crosby to not play, which it's funny to want your star player to not play, but we all know he shouldn't. And this is, I think he's, a lot of people just are ready to get rid of these. Raider fans are traumatized. They want to get rid of him right away. I think they got something special with him. I really do.
It's because they wanted the next guy we're about to talk about.
That's correct. Let's move on. That's
well,
correct.
and just about Pierce, I love him. I do not want him gone. The one thing I just need him to get rid of the camp counselor vibe. And I think he's starting to, the summer camp guy, come on guys, let's go. The janitor's on our team. It's like, all right, dude, I get that. That's cool. That's also really cool, but shut up, dude. I don't know.
I feel that. I do.
Yeah, but let's do Jim Harbaugh.
I feel like Jim Harbaugh is like an automatic alpha, just because he's just so crazy, just the shit he be saying, man. And he does get those guys ready to play. Yeah, like that Chargers team is definitely not a Brandon Staley team. Those dudes are intense. They're actually kind of dirty at this point. Like talk about that fight that happened with the Raiders. The Chargers on the defense side, they're pretty dirty, man. If you watch them on film, they're a pretty dirty team.
Michigan
was. Right. Right. They're a pretty dirty team. And I think that's Harbaugh. I think Harbaugh teaches that physicality. He's even got Justin Herbert showing emotion, which I think is a big step. Sure. Justin Herbert throwing his helmet. He's got Justin Herbert showing emotion. He lies about this injury report.
He really did lie about Justin Herbert.
That's alpha.
Right. Yeah. And this is some of the shit he said. Like, what did he say the other day? He said, I'm like Moses. I'll die depending on my staff.
Biblical. That's alpha biblical.
Dude,
for sure.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. You know what I mean? These are things that are off the fly. These are things he's answering people's questions.
Have you listened to the dad though? The dad is still 87 years old and he's still sharp as hell. He's just he's got an answer for you at all the time. He looks just like both of them. Yeah. I like John so much more because John coaches a team I don't hate. And Harbaugh has literally coached 4 teams that I hate. I don't like the Stanford Cardinal. I don't like Michigan.
Niners.
I don't like the Niners, and I don't like the Chargers. So he just follows me around to torment me. And he's got them playing well, man. He's got them playing well. The one thing he can't do is the Chargers get injured it's a bad coach for that fit because he's going to get your ass injured, and they're a team that cannot handle any injuries ever. It becomes this plague for them. The whole NFL's hurt right now, but the Chargers, especially with their luck and the Bosas, the Derwin James, the now Herbert, it looks like they seem to be these guys that get the injury bug. One thing I like about him is that he does not conduct himself as a quarterback, though. You would not know that he was a quarterback if you ever heard him speak.
That's a great point.
You would think he was special teams like his brother, because what do they do? Okay, first off, Michigan, they were allergic to throwing the football. People didn't know if JJ McCarthy was good or not. We still don't, but we didn't even know at the time because they're bro, he had 8 pass attempts against Minnesota or something. And you just didn't know that. With the Niners, he wanted to pound the ball with Frank Gore and Kendall Hunter. With Stanford, it was Toby Gerhart a million times, and it was just all of these things. And then guess what happens with the draft this year, dude? Because his ass was all over that pick. He wanted this pick.
Yeah.
If you're a quarterback, you damn sure want Malik Neighbors. Sure want, especially on that team that had lost both of their wide receivers to free agency and needed to get younger at the position. They take Joe Alt, who's a damn stud, Notre Dame Fighting Irish. We might be becoming O-line U slightly. I don't want to brag, but he's a stud. But it's just that's not what a quarterback does, I mean, I know they like to have their left tackle or their right tackle, but you look at Malik Neighbors and you're like, man, Justin Herbert and him, that scared the hell out of me. If the prospect of that happening, you can find a tackle in any draft. That dude is a monster. But Harbaugh, it can't work. I need it to not work, but I'd be lying if I said I wasn't a little scared.
Yeah. It might not work because, if Herbert keeps getting hurt and then he's trying to run Herbert, and then Greg Roman, you should see Chargers fans, man. They have already turned on him. Chargers fans have already turned on Greg
That's
Roman.
Funny.
And I think it's hilarious.
How often do you think about the Greg Roman Empire?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So well-coached division. It's an interesting division, It's like it's one of the hotter divisions.
I think the Broncos are the weak link, to be honest.
Yeah,
I hate to say it, but Sean Payton has an army that will just tell you in Orwellian 1984 fashion, Sean Payton's a good coach. You're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
If you repeat it enough.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
All right. Yeah. No, yeah. I guess I believe that. Yeah. Anyways, NFC, let's roll through it.
NFC East, Mike McCarthy, Dallas Cowboys. Interesting one.
This one's tough. Yeah. I'm gonna go beta. With Mike McCarthy. Just because I don't know. It's just something about Mike that, I think his relationship with Aaron Rodgers says a lot about me too. I think how they couldn't make that work. I guess Aaron Rodgers has a book coming out. I kind of want to read that. Actually, he was actually a part of. I thought the other guy was just writing about him, but he was actually a part of the book, right? So I want to read that because it's going to go more in depth into their relationship, because I guess they didn't like each other for like 6 years. And the way that it ended, and then he goes into Dallas, and it just feels like that Dallas team should just be better than what they are. Mm-hmm. And they're not really prepared some weeks. I mean, it feels like that he's just kind of working for Jerry Jones, and I think to really show your alpha in Dallas, I think you got to take on Jerry Jones like Jimmy Johnson did.
Absolutely.
And if you're not like that, you're not gonna win in Dallas, because Jerry, we're all his shit. He's an alpha. Right. And if you can't, if you can't say nothing to Jerry, then you aren't going to get it done. And if Jerry's running the show, you got to be like Jimmy Johnson, who's going to tell you, like, no, I'm running this damn show, and I'm going to trade this whole team for Herschel and get rid of Herschel Walker, and then build a monster. And you're not going to say shit about it. And that's what you need with Jerry Jones, and Mike McCarthy's not that guy.
Yeah, I think I definitely think Mike McCarthy is a beta, because, as you said, if you work for Jerry Jones, you just can't be. I mean, you're going to last the season.
Exactly.
You're going to last the season if you are. It's very similar. I will say the same thing. My guy, my hero, Al Davis, same thing. It was really tough. Mike Shanahan didn't last. Like Mike Shanahan didn't last, not because he wasn't a good coach, but because he was alpha. You're just going to be. I feel like Mike McCarthy's coaching to impress Jerry Jones more than he's coaching to win ball games. Exactly. And I think he is a good coach. I actually think he is a good coach. The Cowboys are weird because they get Jerry Jones is really brash, and he has his own calls into the radio station. Yeah. Just total oil money guy, that just this is my own kingdom, which I've always respected. I've always actually had love for him. He was always cool with Al Davis. I always kind of I actually like him more than a lot of people do, but. And I love bombastic, brash owners.
He's a nice guy too, man.
He seems hella cool.
Yeah, dude. You get a Senior Bowl or something, you go shake his hand, he'll shake your hand. Yeah, he's a
spiritual Al Davis companion for sure.
He'll get blackout drunk, dude. Still to this day. That picture with the girls is the sickest thing ever, where he's just he's I have no idea where I am right now. And this girl's just on him. Kind of soft 5s and 6s too, which was even more alpha to me. I don't know why. And then he was but McCarthy, it's weird, but McCarthy is a testament to Jerry Jones, because Jerry Jones is such a brash guy, but he keeps people around forever. He doesn't actually, he pays everybody. It's crazy. He pays, if he drafted you, he paid you unless you just stink. And even if you do stink, he might pay you. It's so strange, but I actually think Dallas isn't as bad. They're 2-1, and people talk about them like they're 0-3. They're just one of those teams where I'm like, dude, they're 2-1. They could figure it out. They have a young offensive line. I saw they had Tyler Guyton. He was getting beat like a drum the other night. He might be good by the end of the year. And Cooper Beebe's their center. They're going to figure it out. I don't know why they didn't just throw, 2 years, $20 million at Derrick Henry to the Ravens, 2 years, $14 million. Derrick Henry's playing for $7 million a year. And with the Cowboys, him running indoors in that stadium, I think that would solve a lot of problems. And I don't know why they didn't do that. They brought the carcass of Zeke Elliott back with Rico Dowdle at running back. Dude, come on. It's a Nickelodeon name, Rico Dowdle. And I think they're still going to win the division, though. That's my hot take.
Okay.
Everybody's we're going to talk about the team that everyone's darling right now. But I think the Cowboys are going to win the NFC East. Anyways, moving on.
I like Jerry Jones. They'll call into the radio station. They'll be like, "What do you think about CeeDee Lamb this year?" And he'll be like, in the Spanish-American War in 1812, there was a great, he'll just be like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, he's bringing up Blood Meridian characters.
Exactly, dude.
Yeah. Dude, they said he would drink a styrofoam cup of Johnny Walker, dude, a full kitchen glass, and he would.
I can see that.
They said you. Who was that report? It wasn't Skip Bayless, but one of the guys, Ed Werder. Was it
Yes.
Ed Werder?
Uh-huh.
He was like the Dallas guy, right? Back in the day or something.
Yeah, him and
he, said
Skip Bayless.
he said you'd go on that bus and you'd come out, you'd be like, the next day, be like, bro, I'm fucked. Like, this is rough. Like Big Lebowski, Jackie Treehorn, like slumped on the table. Like, yeah, it was nuts, man. So I would love to hang out with Jerry Jones. He's hella cool.
Yeah.
All right, next up.
New York Giants, Brian Daboll.
I'm going Beta, Brian Daboll.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and it goes back to Hard Knocks. I'm telling you, Hard Knocks exposes a lot of these guys, man.
Dude, that was a rough Hard Knocks. That was a rough Hard Knocks. Dude.
Like, what do you do? Did you just make jokes? Like, what do you do over there? You just make jokes to the.
Do you like it? Do you like him as a play caller though? Do you like his stuff? I mean, it's not bad.
Actually, I do think he's a pretty good play caller.
Yeah, me too. Yeah,
I think he had this issue of trying to turn Daniel Jones into Josh Allen at first, and it kind of worked.
He listened to me. Yeah,
right?
He listened to me sadly. Yeah,
it kind of worked a little bit, but then the next year it didn't work because Daniel Jones is like so up and down and he's so iffy. But Daniel Jones actually looks pretty good this year though. Like I was watching
he was
game against the Browns. He was picking them apart.
Thursday night game. That Thursday night game.
In a pocket. What?
That Thursday night game, dude, he was putting it on Wan'Dale Robinson, nobody behind them. The neighbors, when you can't give him, that was a tough catch, but like the ball was there. And then the Sterling Shepard one where you come back, or was it Sterling Shepard? I can't remember. Slayton, excuse me, comes back to the ball, drops it. I'm like, Daniel Jones needs to change the trajectory. He needs to go to the Jaguar. He needs to go to like a Jaguars. Raiders next year. Nobody wants to say it, but like I don't think he's that bad.
I was watching. I was like, I don't know.
Yeah, no.
He did not look bad.
Hey, Raider fans said all you gotta do is be mobile. So, but hey. Daboll is like, I really wanted to get behind him. I like the FDNY never forget look that he had, but now he looks like White Dudes for Harris, like Zoom meeting. I don't know what happened, dude. I don't know what happened. He looked like he was just like, hey guys. Great donation from Joseph Gordon-Levitt just now. He looks like that now. And I thought he was coming in being the NY garbage man, sewer rats. I know all the rats down in the pipe. I thought he looked like that at first, and I think I bought it. And they made the playoffs. People forget they made the playoffs with him. And I think, did they beat the Vikings, or I think they got beat by the Vikings? I can't remember, one of the two.
They beat the Vikings.
They beat the Vikings. Yeah.
So I remember just thinking like, man, this is crazy. And you see what he's doing with Malik Neighbors. I think they always have a pretty good defense, like underrated defense. Dexter Lawrence, monster, one of the most underrated players in the NFL. Thibodeau. These guys are good. They're just, man, he's gonna get fired this year. It's New York. He's just not. I think he's gonna get fired this year.
Him and that GM.
Yeah. And it just, you're right. Like it just doesn't look the same. It's like, man, you had Josh Allen. Josh Allen was not good when he first came into the NFL, and Brian Daboll got him and really got him playing good football. And now that, like, even you see to this day the stuff that he developed with Brian Daboll, and I want to like him so bad. I like the New York Giants. I've always thought there. Shout out to my boy Eddie from Car Crash. I like them. And there's another account called @BHighB, like HIGHB. Funniest account in the history of football, I think. Like he's just so. He's
that
so
the all
good.
caps guy?
He's the best.
He's so
he's the best. So it just he watches like all 22 and just like talks shit the whole time. He's really funny.
Yeah.
So anyways, Daboll sadly is a beta. I think he's getting fired.
Yeah, for sure.
And man, this division, just Nick Sirianni, Eagles. Let's go. Dude, what the fuck? They're worst coach team in the NFL, in my opinion, dude. Like,
I don't know what does he do
for the potential they have. Like the worst coach, dude. It's so bad. Yeah.
I don't know what he does. Like I have no idea. Like how did he get that team to the Super Bowl? Like that team was just that stacked that he was just
Steichen.
Yeah. There you go.
Steichen
and Roseman.
Yeah.
And a little John Gannon, those guys aren't there except for Roseman. So,
dude, and their defense looks so bad, like just so poorly coached, so poorly. I don't know what is going. They look like like Rutgers or something, like just like they like playing an NFL team or something.
Damn.
I don't know, dude.
Damn, Greg Schiano slander, dude. He just won me some money this weekend, dude.
I mean, if Rutgers played an NFL team, you know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah. Damn, dude.
Congrats on the win,
dude. They Scarlet Knights, dude. I got Scarlet Fever. They look good.
Yeah. I just have no idea what Nick Sirianni does, man. He just makes stupid quotes and just like I don't know. He's just like he's a fake alpha. He's fake intense because nobody really follows him. That team just fell apart too quick. They were at 10-1 last year, and then how do you lose the locker room at 10-1?
Yeah, and Jalen Hurts says like he like barely sees him too. If you're, I heard there was a quote where Jalen Hurts, who was just like, I barely like we'd like say what's up in the hallway. I'm like, wait, you guys aren't just like chopping it up like in the film room, like you know,
like on Tuesday,
take out containers, secret little bottle of liquor. Like let's watch this Oklahoma offense back in the day. See if we can, you know, you think you'd be doing stuff like that, but I think Sirianni spends his time like reading books about how to be an alpha, like kind of similar to Robert Saleh, where like I think he's just like he's like reading, he's like practicing like the Philadelphia accent, like the Shane Gillis accent, like he's like tries to like he's trying to be something that he's not. Because I don't know what he is. I don't know if he is anything. And I guarantee you he'll do Brian Kelly. Let's say he gets fired and then gets hired at a Southern team or something like that, or New Orleans Saints or something. He's going to develop the Cajun accent. He's just one of those guys. He goes where the wind blows. And the meltdowns he has. The other night, he knocked me out of Survivor Pool when I picked them against the Falcons because I thought they'd win their home opener against the Falcons. He calls that play, which again, Saquon dropped it, but it's like, dude, run some clock. It's not that hard. Like you overthink everything. And then you have these meltdowns and you're like, you're either with us or you're against us. I'm against you. You suck. That's what I'm sorry, man. Like Hurts doesn't look good anymore. Who knew that drafting every Georgia player wasn't a good idea? Because you don't hear about N'Kobe Dean or who's that guy? Nolan Smith. Yeah. Where's that guy been doing? Does he do anything? No, none of these guys. Jalen Carter's good, but we knew he was good. Everybody else, it's like they draft all these Georgia guys. How could they let the Eagles get these guys? The NFL said. I guess how could we, right? Because their defense sucks, and I want them to be good. I have nothing against the Eagles. I just am like, dude, you guys need to fire him. My hot take, I've heard this elsewhere, but I do think this is going to happen. Sirianni gets fired because it's Philly. It's not going to last long. Philly fans are very honest about their team. I think they agree with almost everything I said, and they probably think I'm being nice. And then I think Sirianni gets fired. Bill Belichick is back.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
See, I think Bill's going to the Giants. I think he's waiting out. I think he wants the Giants job.
He might. I heard he has a bad relationship with Mara, the owner. That's what I heard. But I also just think the fact is the Giants need a quarterback. And I think Belichick's mistake last time with the Patriots is like, well, I don't have a quarterback now. I will say Philly, I think Belichick could do some Belichick always wants to do that college thing. He loves like college stuff. Like college, like he could hire somebody to come in and be like, can you do this? It'll be Josh McDaniels, oddly enough.
Yeah, he's hiring Josh.
Yeah, it'll be Josh McDaniels. But Josh McDaniels will have like the Tebow bullshit that he did. Like, I think that's what's going to happen. I'm not saying it's going to be good, but I think that's what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyway, Steichen, boo. I hate Shane Steichen.
Wait.
Yeah, no. Sirianni. That's the thing. I think that, like,
I was like, hold up.
The reason they won is, like, because of Shane Steichen, so that's in my head. And I'm like, this guy just is like a bad version of Shane Steichen that got the job.
Yeah.
That has the job.
Also, the fake mob guy, the security guy. Fuck
that weird down the hall and to the left, dude.
300-pound guy.
Reddit. Exactly. Oh my god. Exactly. And he should be the interim coach if you fire him. By the way, stand on business, bro. Fire him midway through the season. Big Dom's the head coach. I'm sorry, like Jason Kelce retired, but like it shouldn't look this bad because Jason Kelce retired.
Yeah, exactly.
Lame. Yeah, lame. Yeah. So, anyways, moving on.
All right. We got the hidden feather on the shirt, Dan Quinn, Washington Commanders.
That was pretty fucking
dude, I love it.
Yeah, Dan Quinn's he's mad alpha though. Like, you could just tell. I mean, even when he was where was he coaching? He was coaching the Falcons. I mean, he got the Super Bowl, right?
8-3,
right.
Damn.
And you know, he always hires a really good staff. I mean, I still think clips can fall off the. We'll get later this season.
I agree.
We'll see how J. Daniels looks later on the season, but I think he does have that team playing really well. They stomped the Cardinals yesterday. They went out there and just beat them down. He's a great defensive play caller too, and you know he's definitely a guy that people like playing for, and they want to go out there and play with him. But man, I just don't believe in Cliff Kingsbury. So we'll see though.
So you guys both talk about this, and you think the offense is just not complex enough for the NFL, will get figured out by week 6, kind of a vibe? Is that kind of the thing?
Or injuries too? Like I'm sorry, like if McLaurin's injured, are they going to cook without any motion where guys aren't winning one-on-one all the time or finding soft spots in zones. There's going to be look, it's tough
because they don't mix up their receivers, right? They don't
motion them. They don't do any of this stuff. And it's always been my problem. And people forget Arizona started this hot. Arizona started this exact fashion under
every year.
Dude, they started out and people were like, who could stop him? He's so cool. He puts the play sheet in front of his mouth so you can't see what he's saying. It's so tight. And he's obviously talented and has the ability to be good. I think he gets underrated as far as a run game. I think he's always good at manufacturing yards on the ground. Jeremy McNichols from running back Boise State, as I've been told, had 2 touchdowns yesterday, and I thought it was like Barry Sanders out there. This is crazy. James Conner looks incredible in Arizona and has looked good since, even without Kingsbury. But like, I think like by like week 7, week 8, I think people are gonna, because Jaden Daniels, I have nothing bad to say. I loved him. I liked him more than Caleb Williams in the draft. I love him. I think he's great. I just think that halfway through the year, and it'll be the Commanders fans that turn on him, because that right now they're in this honeymoon phase. But the minute Jaden Daniels has a human-like game, they're all going to see that guy on the sideline. But with Quinn, I actually think Quinn's a very good coach. Look at Dallas's defense right now; it doesn't quite look the same with Mike Zimmer there. And Dan Quinn had that defense eating, because they were bad before he took the job too. They were really bad when the Raiders played them on Thanksgiving and put up like 37 points. They were terrible. And that Washington defense, I think they're suffering from a personnel issue. I don't think they're quite there yet. I don't think they have the corners that they need yet. I think that's going to happen throughout the year. They haven't played a non-Giants team in the division yet either. So if they're going to beat Dallas and Philly, which I think are going to be, I don't know if they're primetime games, but they always seem to be.
They always are.
They always seem to be. It's going to be in front of everybody. Now, if they go out there and tear them up, I'm all in. But for now, I think they've made the right hire with Dan Quinn. I know they wanted the guy from Detroit, Ben Johnson. I know that was a big thing. And that would have been pretty cool too. I think you don't have to have Cliff Kingsbury flame out. So I like Dan Quinn. He's an alpha. I think he gets way too much hate for that 28-3 thing, because at the end of the day, what have the Falcons done since? Yeah. So Dan Quinn's good. Quinn sanity in Washington.
Quinn sanity.
Yeah.
Also, this matters. I like the look. I like the backwards hat, old guy, so cool. The glasses. Yeah. It's swag.
He's not on White Dudes for Harris. No, I'm just saying that right now. Yeah. He's sneaking the R word back in every once in a while on that name. It's he wants it. You can tell he's like, hey, how many division titles before we get it back? And they're like, Josh Harris is like, never, dude. This can't happen. This can't happen. Yeah, he's like, you understand that we can't do this, right? And he's just like, he's like, what if I win 2 Super Bowl? I feel like he wants the name back. And it's funny because I don't want to get into this conversation, but it is funny to hear like Troy Aikman and guys slip up. Like, the Redskins, they did, and then like you never.
Do you think they get fined like a player, like $7,000?
No, there's a time earpiece moment that happens for sure, and I think, but it's like, Troy spent his like life beating.
He's put like 50 games against them.
Yeah, and spent his life making sure that team doesn't beat him. He's like, bro, he's gonna slip up from time to time. He's not gonna play the Commander. I barely remember that's their name. The Cleveland Guardians the other day, I forgot that was their name. I was like,
I forget that one a lot.
Guardians is bad.
That's that Commanders sounds kind of cool because it's in DC and stuff, like kind of. Yeah. But the Guardian, I'm just like, dude, it's so funny when people like slip up and everyone's like, oh, I'm like, dude, if you grew up anytime before now, like I still think that's their name. So it's like, anyways, I like Quinn. I like Quinn. I'm rooting for them because I love Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. NFC North, really fun division this year. Let's start with the Bears and Matt Eberflus. Yeah.
You want to talk about hard knocks, dude?
He's a big beta though. He's not like he's gonna get fired too. I think he's gonna get fired after this year. He's not gonna make it unless they find some way to make the playoffs, which I just don't see it. I think Caleb's not playing very well. He had his best game last week, but I think they play pretty good defense over there, and I think they have some good defensive players, and that's why. I mean, he's got Tremaine Edmonds, he's got TJ Edwards at linebacker, he's got Montez Sweat, he's got Jalen Johnson.
Brisker,
Brisker as a safety. And then they put a good team around Caleb Williams, but Caleb is learning that I can't run around in circles and hold the ball for 5-8 seconds. And I know people are like, he's getting rid of the ball at 2.6 seconds. I'm like, it's the play that he doesn't. Is with the play that it ends up being wrong, right? So, he's gonna get fired because I just don't like how I don't think he has good control over that team either. I just don't feel like they like love playing for him like that. You know what I mean? We'll see though. We'll see.
He tried his little. He did a little makeover. He tried to switch up his vibe this year. I'm not sure it's taking. Yeah.
Dude, when he tried to become like the silver fox thing for his wife on Hard Knocks, I was like, dude, you're supposed to have crumbs on your shirt from working so hard, dude. Like just disgusting stains on your shirt. I don't need your glow up, dude. Like this is not
glow up. Yeah,
that's a coach glow up is so lame. Like,
it's so weird, man.
You're supposed to sacrifice your health for this job. Like like Bill Belichick. Look at you see Bill Belichick's son. Have you seen him for Washington? Belichick. He looks horrible already. He's like 40, maybe. I don't know. He might be like 30. Yeah. That's what I need. And Eberflus not good. I'm also. I might just be getting old, but the Caleb Williams thing it's really unsettling. Anytime I look, I don't know. It's not there's no ideology behind what I'm saying. Truly, I love ball is ball.
Yeah. He's an odd bird. There's something. There's a little.
It's not even the nails or the Hello Kitty phone case. It's not that. I'm not even you can do that. That can be funny. There's just this weird thing whenever he speaks where it's like, are you okay? Like when I hear him talk, like, is there like a weird? Are you like suppressing an emotion? Like, can I get you a weighted blanket or something? Like, I don't know what it is.
He's a Zoomer quarterback. He's the
first. No, that's the problem. That is that's the problem because football's supposed to take that out of you, kind of. And I think he's like, no, I'm bringing this to football. And the time it takes for him to throw, I watched that whole Rams game yesterday at the sports book, and I was just like, dude, he left a lot of yards on the table. He had about 3 or 4 open looks in the end zone that he just sailed over. He really has like one velocity. I think some of his intermediate throws I don't love unless he's buying time. But again, it's really bad. And I think when he puts his foot down and plants it, I get what people see. It looks really good. And I actually think he's a really good runner with the football. And I don't mean in a buying time. I mean like I take a snap and I see something and I just go. I think he's really good at that. And he will be good. I don't think he's a Bryce Young bad. I think he will be good. The problem is that the Bears need him to bring them back. And I think he's more Trevor Lawrence than he is like other guys. Like I don't know. I could be wrong. I know, Marcus, you really like him.
I do really like him.
I know you do. And I do defer to you in most of these scenarios. I just keep wanting to see it. The thing. He's on an NFC team. I'll root for him. I have no problem. I do hate USC. So I maybe there's a thing there.
I think with Caleb, it's more about like he's got to figure out how to play NFL quarterback. He can't play. Like you're not the best player in the field anymore. That's really what it is. We'll see if he ever figures that out. He might not figure that out just because of his mentality.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Like that's actually a really hard thing to figure out. Like it's really there's so many. Look at like Jameis Winston. Like we all like him as like this folk hero as a backup, but he was the #1 overall pick, and he kind of never really got rid of the flaws. Like there's certain guys that just don't. And look, Caleb, he could be the hardest worker in the world. Hard Knocks. Maybe they didn't give him the best edit, but there was just a lot of times that I was like, they asked him, "Do you know how to slide?" And he goes, "I didn't play baseball." I'm like, was that the answer? Like, do you know how to slide? I mean, a lot of people like there's a lot of quarterbacks that maybe didn't play baseball that know how to slide. I mean, it's not, it was very, very strange. Now, the thing that I think people don't understand, people that are souring on Caleb Williams, I thought that this could happen, so I'm not as surprised. But he was the younger quarterback in the draft. Yeah, he was young. He was young, and Jaden Daniels played a lot of college football, and it wasn't always good. Arizona State, right? Like it was not that good at Arizona State. And Drake May's young too, and we haven't seen him yet, but he's going to have time to learn the system. Bo Nix is old as hell. Penix is old. All of these guys are coming in a lot older to the league. So I will say I'm giving Caleb the benefit of the doubt, but I don't think Matt Eberflus is going to be the one that brings it, or Shane Waldron. I don't think Shane Waldron's good.
No, I don't think Shane Waldron's good either.
No, Seattle knows that. Seattle knows that. So Eberflus is a beta, though. I literally forget he's the coach sometimes. I just look at the team and they're just I don't know. It's just not for me.
Right on. All right. He's coaching up a 2-score lead right now in Monday Night Football. We got Dan Campbell, Detroit Lions.
Yeah.
Let's go, dude.
So Dan Campbell, he's the ultimate alpha, man. That dude is a monster, dude. It just what he has that team, and just them like going for it on 4th down all the time. It's not an analytics thing. That's not an analytics.
Yeah, I agree.
That's an attitude.
Alpha to go against the analytics, the PFF, the percentage. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I forgot what college coach. I think it was Mark Stoops. He had this great quote. I don't know if you saw his quote, but he went for like a 4th and 1 against it's
Ole Miss.
I forgot who they play. Yeah,
Ole Miss. Yeah, they beat Ole
right?
Miss.
And they're like on their 17 and something like that. He's like, the analytics would have told me to punt. I thought that was a great quote. But
dude, you gotta punt the piece of paper at the press conference. I'm punting the analytics.
And I say, look, I'm kind of like a math brain guy, and I hate this. I hate everyone pretending they understand math in the NFL. Like, it's like, dude, forget that shit. Like, come on, dude. It's not. This isn't baseball. This isn't sabermetrics. You know,
you don't have 162 games to do a range of outcomes. No. You literally have one game before everyone wants to murder you.
Yeah. Win or go home,
right?
Yeah.
Exactly. And some PFF guy with no skin in the game whatsoever is like, I would have done that.
I would have went for it there. I don't know. It's a 38% chance, a 0.36% chance to go. I don't know. I would have went with the 36. Bro, that's really close.
Well, actually, 36 doesn't really mean 36, but I wouldn't expect you to know that.
Yeah.
That's what they do. It's just like, oh my Lord. Yeah. Okay. I will say with Campbell, I didn't like the 4th down decisions against the Niners. I thought there were points there. I thought with time, everyone was killing me for that. I got in huge arguments. I'm just like, dude.
I thought that was people were going against you for that. I thought that was
all Eric Eager types too were just like they were doing that to everybody. I'm like, dude, you stop pretending that that's normal things. Like, this is a new thing that you're saying. Stop pretending it's always been this way. And I'm like, you could have taken the points the fact is, and then later when you need the 4th down, you absolutely need it. Maybe there's a drop by Josh Reynolds or something. It's just you get 3 points matters. Like 3 points. There are games decided by 3 points. Often, actually, there's a lot of spreads that are -2.5. Why is that? Oh yeah, because 3 points can win you a game. And I do think it's alpha to go for it. However, you got to just own, and he does. He owns this. He just goes, I believe in my guys. My bad. Like he almost like Campbell's like, I just black out.
And the thing is, people that hypes up your team. But
I agree.
That's hypes up your players, and they want to fight for that. They're like, they're going to fight for that 4th and 2 if they're really like, I trust you, kind of thing.
But I do love him. I absolutely love him. People hated the hire at the time. There were people that wanted to big brain get political about it, and I'm like, okay, can you argue with the result? He restored the roar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
he restored the roar. The Lions are good.
And like I said, the team takes on his mentality. So I mean, they're beast over there. I mean, like Amon-Ra is a psycho. You know what I mean? Like those dudes are they take on his mentality, and he's winning with Jared Goff. Like I don't care what a lot of people say.
And the belief in Jared Goff, when Jared Goff got traded, he was a throw in. Like, hey, you got to take this. Like, it was like an NBA style trade. Like, hey, you got to take this Udonis Haslem contract off my. Yeah, he was treated like that. I mean, perhaps that Richard Jefferson or something. You got to take my Richard Jefferson contract. You know, where this guy, he's gonna wear a suit the whole time. Like, he's not even gonna play. And then Goff comes in there and looks good. Looks good. You know, Jared Goff gets hated on too much. I think he was the number 1 overall pick, but have you seen the last 2 number 1 overall picks? We're waiting for Caleb Williams to learn how to play a position, and Bryce Young sucks. So and then Trevor Lawrence. Like, a lot of times, number 1 overall pick isn't very good. And I think Jared Goff is a good to very good quarterback at times, and a lot of teams, like myself, like my Raiders, wouldn't mind having Jared Goff at quarterback. Yeah, dude. We'd be cooking. Yeah, are you kidding me? So I think Campbell, his loyalty to his guys, I love him. That's what I want Antonio Pierce to become, is really Dan Campbell. He was a guy that had to learn. He was a guy that knew he didn't know, which I love. He knew that he didn't know. He's not as public about not knowing like Antonio Pierce is, but I root for them. I root for them so hard. And it's alpha. I don't think he'll ever be a beta, even if they have a 4-13 season.
No, it's baked into his. Yeah,
he's a Tomlin. Sure. He's like Tomlin tier as far as alpha goes. Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, Matt LaFleur on the other. Yeah, Green Bay Packers.
Tough. I don't know. This was tough. This was really tough. But I'm gonna lean alpha.
Yeah.
Just because I like what LaFleur does. I like LaFleur just finds a way to win. Like, it doesn't matter who his quarterback is at this point, right? I mean, it's Jordan Love. He was winning. Look at who's doing Malik Willis. Like, who the hell was that guy? Who the hell was that guy?
Pretty sick.
I was watching last week. Like, maybe they should put Willis back in. Right? You're watching that last week.
Trade for Jalen Hurts or something. Yeah, trade for Jalen Hurts. Jordan Love for Jalen Hurts. Who says no?
Right? So man, and he got that team to the playoffs last year. I don't think he's missed the playoffs once.
No.
right? He hasn't missed the playoffs once.
No, I don't believe so.
Yeah, they're still 2-2 right now. I don't know if they're gonna miss the playoffs this year. Yeah, he's got those guys going, man. I think he has that kind of. He's like a more intense Shanahan. I think you can kind of feel like he's more into, kind of getting those guys going. I think his relationship with Aaron Rodgers too was pretty damn good. He had a good relationship with Aaron Rodgers and kind of controlled him a little bit, but you really can't control Aaron too much. But he was able to do that and kind of control the personalities of the team. And that to me, that's a big thing for NFL coaches. To me, is that there are some just crazy guys in the NFL that are great.
Mm-hmm.
You have crazy men that are just amazing players, and if you can't control the crazy man, then everything goes wrong. And you have to have the coach that can control some of these psychos that are just really great players. And I think LaFleur has that.
Oh, he's great. I love the undercover cop look that he has. Like he'd be like, "Hey, did you know I was an officer? Damn, man. Let's see what you got in the car." He seems like one of those type of guys. He's got the haircut and everything. I like him. Dude, I don't know. I'm kind of sick of Packer love. I think Packers, anytime they do anything, it's just, oh my gosh, the Packers. But it's tough to argue. Malik Willis, how many other teams? We know a team that couldn't survive with Malik Willis. It was the Tennessee Titans when they had to start him for a little bit. They're bad. And he went in there and ran some every coach got jealous of this, by the way. Every coach was like, damn. They came in here and they were running like an insane offense. It's the offense I've always wanted to run. It's the offense I don't have the balls to do, but they all love that old school like wing tee stuff that they were doing with him. And I think that I like Jordan Love. He's obviously very good, but I don't know that Jordan Love is what he is if he doesn't spend time in Matt LaFleur's system for as long as he did. It's the case for sitting guys. It's the case for not rushing your first round pick out there to impress your fan base. It's the case for all of these things. I think even the Josh Jacobs thing. Josh Jacobs is kind of a prima donna, right? Like to say the least. They bring him in and he's in a committee. Mm-hmm. They were just like, all right, bro, line up, I guess. We'll give you a few carries this game. I'm making this much. I don't give a shit. You want to win? Did you want to win? I thought you came from a poverty franchise, Josh. I thought you wanted to win.
Yeah, I thought you wanted to win, Josh. Like, what do you? Yeah,
I think they're going to run into some problems, but they keep passing every test except beating the damn Niners. Figure out a fucking way. Oh, dude, beat this team. But you're on mute side, by the way. Yeah.
My bad.
I think we're ready. I think we're ready. Yeah, I think we're ready.
I had some crazy takes. You guys missed them. No,
yeah. That was way too vulgar. Way too vulgar. I could read
way too vulgar, man.
It was I muted you, but if you want to give up the game, you got me. Yeah.
Kevin O'Connell, Vikings, the white hot Vikings right now.
Oh, the ultimate alpha, man. That dude is just he's like a secret alpha. Like he looks like a beta.
Yes.
Yeah. Like I don't know if I would have hired Kevin O'Connell.
Dude, nobody wanted to.
I know. Yeah. And that dude, he cooks with anybody, right? And that's his thing, man. He's got Sam Darnold in an MVP race right now.
Yeah. That's so crazy to say. Yeah.
He got, because one of the coolest things I like is that when I talk about this, man, controlling these crazy guys, he got Justin Jefferson to stop moving around on his routes. Justin Jefferson now is very precise. Like Devontae Adams, like that's what I'm saying. Like he got to control Devontae Adams. Devontae Adams does whatever the hell he wants out there. He does. If he wants to run inside, he's going to run inside. Like he's got Justin Jefferson to the point where he's not going to make a lot of wiggle moves. He's still going to get open, but he found a way to convince him that if you stay on time, you can win with Kirk Cousins, right? And he was able to put up a lot of yards with Kirk Cousins because of that, because they found a way to get Justin Jefferson on time. And the same thing's happening with Sam Darnold. So that's what I'm saying. Like if you to be a head coach in the NFL, you got to be able to control these crazy guys, and that's what Kevin O'Connell could do. I personally think he's the best play caller in football right now. Like
I think he's the best coach in football right now, besides Andy Reid. Besides Andy Reid, obviously is like the guy, but of the new age, I don't think dude. Last year, they have Josh Dobbs come in there. This is the Josh Dobbs resurrection trade. Josh Dobbs has a job because of Kevin O'Connell, because he wasn't good. Like he just wasn't good for Pittsburgh. He just wasn't that good of a NASA was calling him, and this year Sam Darnold sucks. Like he's like straight up. The 2018 quarterback class looks good now because of Kevin O'Connell. Yeah. Like there were two. I mean, get Josh Rosen in the building. See what we can do with Josh Rosen. Like seriously, it's so good. And then you want to control a crazy guy? Look at his defensive coordinator.
I know.
That might be the craziest defensive coordinator in football. Brian Flores, by the way, was Brian Flores wrong about Tua? I don't think so.
No, probably not.
Okay, because Brian Flores wanted to say something, but you can't do that when a guy's concussed. But he was kind of like,
yeah.
I told you the game wasn't for you. But yeah, I mean,
someone had to say it, dude.
And people will say that's like barbaric. He's a defensive coordinator that blitzes every down. He's the new Greg Williams. He's the new Greg Williams, but he's better than Greg Williams. He's like Brian Flores, and also people think Brian Flores is getting another coaching job. He is not. He's like Steve Spagnuolo. He's going to stay there forever because everyone knows Steve Spagnuolo can't coach. So he's going to be the Kansas City Chiefs defense. Why else would you go anywhere else to be a DC? And Brian Flores is on that Spagnuolo route right now to do that. And I think they're going to be a tough out. Their home field advantage is something I envy a lot. I love their stadium. It's so both the same year as Levi Stadium, but it's so much better. And I think on defense, they are for real. Ivan Pace, Dallas Turner, they're young, they're fast. They have good corners, good safeties. This team is for real. And guess what? They have a young quarterback who's had a tore his ACL. I believe in JJ now.
I know.
That's what's crazy. It's like JJ is going to cook with Kevin O'Connell.
Yeah, for sure.
Or else he's not worth the shit. You'll know that he's not even an NFL quarterback if Kevin O'Connell can't get anything.
Brian Flores is hilarious because just texting your quarterback, just telling him he sucks in the middle of the
I love it.
Just wake it up. Like, we're just waking up and you're like, you know what, Tua, you suck. Has anybody told you that today?
Incredible.
Your ass.
I know.
And I don't want you at all.
Not worried about getting killed by a bunch of Samoans. Like a whole family of Samoans. He's like, come get me, bro. You stink.
Like, what's good, man? Like, you suck.
Yeah.
I went just to Herbert. And I just want to tell you, I just woke up this morning and I just felt like I just want to text you and tell you that.
And he would have texted Justin Herbert the same thing, too.
I know.
I think all quarterbacks suck. Kevin O'Connell is the real deal. And I root for the Vikings hard, man. Like, I want them to be great. Shout out to my boy Ryan. Just absolutely. They're downtrodden because they're always kind of good, but they're always a bridesmaid, never a bride. And I hope this is the year. I don't know if it is, but they beat the Niners and the Texans and made them look stupid. Just it wasn't a fluke win. They were better than them in all phases. It's amazing. So, anyways,
I knew it was alpha when playing the Raiders last year. Benched Josh Dobbs after he was like 3-0. And he's like, nah, you got to sit down and we're going to win this game. Exactly.
Amazing. Yeah, so I watched that team and I was just like, this is a damn good football team that oh man. Anyways, next up.
Yeah. NFC South, Atlanta Falcons, Raheem Morris.
We're in the South. How do you know this?
I know you never know.
I'm gonna go beta. He smiles too much for me, I guess. He's just too happy.
He's the smiling Demeco Ryans.
He just seems so happy to be there, Maybe he's a great leader. I don't know, but because he flamed out in Tampa really quick.
Yes,
I'm sure. I think he's a good defensive coordinator, but like as a leader, I was thinking about going alpha with him because I was thinking about him a lot when we're getting closer to this because he did take Michael Penix, and I think that took some balls. I don't know if that was him.
You think he was? I think that was an Arthur Blank thing. I think Arthur Blank. He's like Arthur Blank gave himself 10 years to live. I think Arthur Blank. You think about it. Dude, the other day look, this is kind of a tangent, but like picking up, like I remember when I was young and Steve Nash, when he was for the Lakers, hurt his back, picking up his suitcases and like, it like hurt his back. And I'm at the age where he did that. And anytime I hurt myself picking something up or doing something stupid, twisting the wrong way, sneezing too hard or something, I start thinking about like, man, half my life might be over. And Arthur Blank is like, my life is damn close to being over. And I think he's like, I never want to be without like maybe an exciting quarterback for the rest of my 10 years. And I think he did it. I think Raheem Morris is a little bit pissed, to be honest. I think Raheem Morris was like, bro, get me a defensive player. Like, give me a wide receiver. Get me something like to make this run because Raheem Morris might not survive the two quarterbacks that they have. So, I'm not a Falcons expert. Somebody could debunk that. But anyways, go on. You were talking about Morris.
Yeah. I just think that, he had a huge flame out in Tampa because he took over for Gruden. And, they didn't really win it all after. I think they had like a one halfway decent.
Josh Freeman.
Right. But other than that, he flamed out 4-12. And he really never got a shot after that. I think he was an interim for was it the Falcons?
The Falcons. Yeah.
That's probably why he's back there. But even then, I mean, I just think that he's a little beta in my opinion. I just don't see him as like the greatest leader in the world. I just think he's a really good defensive coach.
Yeah, I don't like flashy dressing coaches either. He's got like clean Jordans and like a sick ass watch, and I'm always just like, you shouldn't even be thinking about that when you're gonna be like. And you're right, he's smiling. Maybe he just like likes being on TV. I think he might just enjoy being on TV. Being in Atlanta is probably sick. I will say the Atlanta Falcons fan base. I got nothing against. I'm an AFC guy, so I hate all the AFC teams, but like. The Falcons, I met them at SoFi. All their fans stayed at the same hotel as me. Even some of the players at the Marriott in LA. I met their fans. They're the coolest people in the history of the world. They're so fun. They have like this self-hate thing about them that I identify with. Yeah. And because obviously all the tragedy of fan bases that they've gone through from Gary Anderson, or was it Gary? No, Gary Anderson missed against them. But yeah, then they lost to the Broncos in the Super Bowl, lost 28-3 and all that. Raheem Morris, I feel like in 3 years I won't know if he's good or not. And that's because he doesn't assert himself. And I don't think that's alpha. That's beta. So
100%.
All right.
I feel like this is like the beta division.
Yeah.
They're all the same. All the teams are the same.
Yeah.
Every NFC South team, they're all the same. They're all 9-8 vying for they're all 8-8 vying for the final game in the end of the season. They all have a playoff scenario, but they all choke at the same time. But one woes. Insane division. Yeah.
So interesting. So Dave Canales, Carolina Panthers.
Coach. I'm gonna go alpha with Dave Canales because that was an alpha move, man.
Dude,
to pull Bryce Young.
Yep.
Was very alpha. I mean, you had. David.
Yep.
Maybe it was Tepper. We don't know. I mean, people say it was Tepper, but I don't know. I don't know if Tepper can go down there and be like, "You're gonna play Andy Dalton this week." I don't know if that's gonna work, right? I think that was Canales. I think Tepper would want him to force to play Bryce Young because Bryce Young is his pick. That's Tepper's guy. He traded up to get him, right? Give up all those draft picks to kind of just give up on him and realize that this team's actually better than we think. And Canales is like, I don't want you to fire me because you're gonna fire me if I keep playing Bryce Young and we start off 0-9. You're gonna fire me. You're not gonna fire Bryce Young. So I think he made a great choice. So I'm gonna go alpha with Dave Canales, and I just like how prepared they were for the Raiders. Man, they came and they kicked the Raiders' ass. I think they were. I feel like it felt like there was a statement game for them, and they played pretty well against the Bengals too. It was a statement game for them against the Raiders, and you could just tell that he has that locker room. And they're ready to play.
So here's what happened, I think, in my opinion, with Dave Canales. And I agree with you that he's alpha. And this is why. I think he got the job because he fixed a short quarterback named Baker Mayfield, right? He fixed a short quarterback, and he's like, and then David Tepper was like, get me the guy that fixes Bryce Young. And he goes, oh, yeah, I'll fix Bryce Young, all right? Wink, wink, wink. Gets in there, and he goes, what do you need as soon as you get in there? Get me the two biggest guards you can find. Yeah. They get two big guards, and they put him in there. Bryce Young's like, what the fuck, dude? And he's like looking up, and he's like, I can't see over this. He goes, can I get some phone books or something? Can't see over Robert Hunt. Yeah, that'll go well. And then immediately, you don't want to be the sacrificial lamb if Bryce Young doesn't work the first year. So you immediately bench him and you show your owner, I can put up 20 plus points a game with Andy Dalton. Yeah. And I think they're actually in a really good spot for their next quarterback, which I think will happen next year. I think they're going to be like a Cam Ward destination or something like that. And it'll be a good spot. They have a good offensive line. They're going to be able to run the football well, which they did. I didn't think Rachaad White was a very good running back. And last year, look at Rachaad White right now. He might get benched for Bucky Irving. Yeah. And he already is. He already is, right? So Shuba Hubbard, who I literally thought of as like the guy that you just inherit on a team in Madden that you don't know. He's just completely average. He looks good. And I think they're a good team. They're definitely – I don't think it matters what happens on defense the first year. I think it's good that they probably are going to lose most of their games this year. But I think Canales is dope, man. And I think he's going to be a good play caller. And I think when they get the exciting young quarterback that's, I don't know, tall, I think they're going to be really good.
Yeah, for sure.
He's a football guy. He cooks, dude. He's got good football ideas. He's modern. He resurrected
the Bucs after Brady, dude, which nobody really we thought they were going to be kind of that purgatorial / hellish team for after Brady left, like the Patriots were. But he came in there. He buys low. He sees a franchise. He buys low and goes in there. And I when they hired him, I said that's going to be good for Bryce Young. But little did I know he was playing 4D chess. He was like, I ain't doing no Bryce Young shit.
Yeah,
he legit I'm sorry about you.
He was jumping, bro. He was jumping to throw the ball.
I know, Robert. That's what I'm saying. He got the big guards. He's like, I'll show you how Bryce Young plays. We'll protect him. We'll protect him with the PFF. We'll get your PFF analytics how good my offensive line is, and you're gonna say, "Oh, Bryce Young situation." No, you got it. You must be this tall to ride this ride, bro. He's not good. So, and I feel bad. I feel bad for Bryce Young. He seems like a really nice guy, but he also straight up was just like, "Yeah, I stink." He straight up said that. and was just like, I stink and I'm not good. So Canales knew that, and Canales knew he didn't want to be the one and done coach, and said, look, I'll bring Andy Dalton in here. I know a team that can't beat Andy Dalton. I'll start Andy Dalton against that team and ruin Marcus and Glenn's life. And I must submit to the great Dave Canales.
Yeah,
for sure.
All right. New Orleans Saints, Dennis Allen.
Yeah.
Does anyone like this guy?
King
No
Beta.
one. No one in that.
What does he have on top of his head? What type of hat does he wear?
A visor.
Son of a bitch, dude. What
the visor, bro. The
never
visor
fails. Yeah.
never fails.
Who's going to bring the visor back? Who's going to save the visor? It's coming.
So people are going to try. People are going to try, but I'm telling you, the visor then becomes a parasite that controls you, and it's just not...
It's only Gruden could bring the visor back, but he doesn't even wear the visor anymore.
No, he switched to the full. Remember, he had the full Raiders like snapback on.
Yeah,
like when he knew. Yeah,
no more visors.
But yeah, I mean, anyways, please, Marcus, Dennis Allen.
I mean, what am I going to say about Dennis Allen? Dennis Allen is the ultimate. I don't even know how he got on the job. He got on the job because he can coach defense, but I don't know.
See the new Brandon Staley?
He's similar. He's a similar type.
I just don't see like anybody following Dennis Allen.
No.
I just feel like that Saints team is kind of just like when they lost last week. It just feels like that team is just. It's like he's even taken like the old 2014 Raiders vibes with him. He's brought it over to the Saints as a coach because they just have the stupidest shit happen to them same way, And then he's got Derek Carr over there too. So like it's just that whole vibe, is off. So
they're an Alvin Kamara ACL away from being terrible. By the way, like that, and like I would spend all week gambling on all these games and stuff. And I had the over in the Falcons Saints game, which did hit. The story has a happy ending, but he was fourth. So, I was 2 points off from the over, and it started getting near 5 minutes time. And I'm like, am I going to get this? Is this going to be a stall out? And it's Derek Carr doing 2 quarterback sneaks, which is, he's the worst quarterback sneak guy ever.
I was like, what is it?
He's trying to do, I'm like, he's going to fumble out of the back of the end zone. And then the Falcons are going to run the clock out and I'm going to be fucked. Yeah. So it gets to 4th down. They false start on 4th down, 4th and 2. And I go, he has to kick the field goal now. Now I get the over. They have 3 timeouts left and they'll get a chance to get the ball back. He goes for it and they do the Rashid Shaheed, like government mandated fade to Rashid Shaheed in the back of the end zone. And it doesn't. Oh, guess what? It didn't work. And then how many points did the Saints lose by? 2 points. Yeah. It's just 3 points. It's analytics. 3 points doesn't mean anything. Yeah. So he would have got the ball back. He did get the ball back. And I'm like, first off, the one thing you should be able to bring to my franchise when you're this like defensive savant is like the conservativeness that actually is needed at times. Is the let me just take the 3. My fan base is going to hate me, but we're going to win this game. And he doesn't even do that. And he was just such a non-factor when he was the Raiders coach. And I was just like, dude, I got pumped when he was like, oh, the guy that fixed the Denver defense will finally have a good defense. Nah, this didn't happen. So, Beta. I don't understand how he still has a job. I don't. Maybe this is the year, but I don't know.
Yeah. They were 2-0. Everyone thought they were just going all the way. And I'm like, I knew just from Carr alone. It's like, that's not good.
No.
No. Yeah. All right. We got the Bucks, top bowls.
Bowles is a beta too because Brady probably still be playing if he was alpha.
Interesting.
I mean, Brady was like, I can't do this anymore.
What do you think of the comments about Baker said about having fun?
Oh yeah.
What do you think about that?
See, because that's what I mean. Like when Brady was there, was Brady making Bowles feel uncomfortable too? Like he was putting an expectation on Bowles, and Bowles couldn't handle it. He couldn't handle that expectation. Brady was pissed that whole game. If you watched that, I don't know if you saw that and you heard him on the broadcast.
They had it going on
Mayfield. That was an average throw. I mean,
that got icy. Yeah, that got really cold. Yeah, that was really. Yeah.
I'm loving Brady. Everyone's hating. I love it right now.
Yeah, I like Brady too because he's getting better, but like people just don't like that he's kind of just like all football. He's just like he's not like Romo.
He's not, and he's a hater too. Romo's a puff piece. He works for the quarterback redemption camp. Like actually, I'm doing quarterback PR. Brady's like, this guy sucks.
Yeah. Like, that's an average. That's an average throw by Baker. He's got to have some better placement there. He was just hating on him so bad because he didn't like that comment. Because he's like, dog, I won Super Bowls. What the hell have you done?
Well, and that's the thing. I will say this. I like Todd Bowles. I do. I actually think he's alpha. I do. I think he's alpha. Here's my thing. I like him because when there's a rookie quarterback, he just fires off on rookie. When Jaden Daniels came into there, he said, "This is your worst debut you're gonna ever have." And I thought Jaden Daniels played well, all things considered, but Bowles will send the house. I just like the way. I like his roster on defense. He's got an old offense, old defense, and he finds a way to make them competitive. And the Baker Mayfield thing let me know that he wasn't just a Brady coattail guy. That being said, the fun thing where nobody ever talks about playing for the New England Patriots and having fun, right? Like nobody ever does that. Guess what? Winning is the fun part. Winning is fun. Not the process sucks, right? Which is like working out and all this stuff. You have to learn to like the process. You have to find these little fun things in there. Does anyone think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to win the Super Bowl this year with Baker Mayfield? No, and I like Baker. I like what he's done. I root for him. I thought he was going to be hosting College Game Day a couple years ago. Like truly, like I thought he was. I thought he was going to be out of it, and I like his redemption arc. But it's after a while, you're like, they're not going to win, and so it's not. I don't know. It's part of it's Todd Bowles, part of it's Baker, but they're kind of this team. I think they're going to win this division. I think. Then they're gonna lose to somebody. They're gonna lose to like the Vikings round 1 or something, or I guess round 2 lose to the Vikings. They're gonna win their first playoff game, and it kind of feels like that's just where they are. But I think he's alpha. I like his defense. I think he's a good coach. And he's all ball. I love that he's all ball. They asked him. I've said this all the time. They ask him all these kind of questions about like a certain social issue. Do you think that this and this? He's like, bro, I literally just watch tape all day. Yeah. And he's like, you don't realize, like reporters just don't realize these coaches are all ball. If they're worth anything. Like he's like, bro, I have not seen a movie in the last 5 years. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like I don't know what you're even telling me right now. Is it an election year? I have no idea. I'm worried about, Dennis Allen's Saints and stuff. So I do like him though. What are they going to do? They're going to flame out like they always do. And Brady brought them their title and Gruden brought them a title. They have these specialty people that go to Florida and win with them and then they leave. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, anyways, next up.
Yeah, got final division, NFC West, Arizona Cardinals, Jonathan Gannon.
I'm going to go alpha with Jonathan Gannon.
Yeah.
He looks goofy. He's a goofy looking guy. He just definitely doesn't strike me. But I like the way they play. I like the way they play over there. Definitely, he even got Kyler Murray playing pretty well. I mean, I know they got their asses kicked.
Guy got handled hard.
Yeah, their asses kicked yesterday. But just for the talent he has, I mean, they don't have too much talent over there. They can still have a pretty good offense. The offensive coordinator, he's a little iffy right now, but I think they're getting the most out of Kyler Murray if they can. I think they just had a tough schedule to start the season. I mean, they had the Bills, they had the Lions, and then the Commanders look pretty damn good. So we'll see how that goes. Because they beat the Rams, right? They beat the hell out of the Rams.
That was crazy, dude.
Yeah,
that was crazy.
Yeah, so they beat the hell out of them, and I think Gannon had those guys. They play well. We could already see what happened to the Eagles defense when he left, right? Yeah. And so I like Gannon. I think he's an alpha.
Yeah, he got hated on pretty hard because he was kind of a dork and kind of weird and kind of all that. But again, he had Philly's defense playing well for the last time that they played well. And he got the job. That Cardinals team just doesn't quite have the talent. Their defensive line is really bad just on paper and to the eye test. They just really don't have a lot of talent on that side of the ball right now, which sucks for Jonathan Gannon because that's what he came there to do. On offense, they're good. Drew Pensig, I like him. But lately, I think he's just been like, dude, just feed Marvin Harrison. Like, just feed him. Like, just feed Marvin Harrison, James Conner. Those are your two. Let's not worry about Greg Dortch.
Greg Dortch.
I don't think a lot of this is Jonathan Gannon. I think eventually they're going to need to make a change at coordinator. And I hope the Bidwells are cheap, so they're going to keep him. Yeah, I think they're going to keep him. And I don't think they're going to fire him. I think he's in a good
ass family.
They are cheap. They're like the Bengals. They're the NFC Bengals. And the Bidwells are like cheap, and so he's probably going to be there. I don't think he's going to get fired this year. Eventually they'll have to do something about Kyler. I think the Kyler is going to regress back to the Kyler that we all know and love, and I think it might have happened last week, sadly. And but yeah, I like Jonathan Gannon. I think last year I was laughing at him too hard, but he got them playing hard with not a lot of talent, and that's the sign of an alpha.
Yeah, for sure.
Need them to beat the Niners this year at least once.
They play this week.
Yeah, I need that to happen. Mm-hmm. Yeah. We got Sean McVay Rams.
I mean, Sean McVay's alpha, man. He's a beast.
He's that guy.
I like Sean McVay a lot. I think he's gonna retire after this year. I still think that. I think that
Me
whole
too.
team is done. That they're done. I mean, he's not
Damn.
gonna. He's not going to deal with that deal with a young quarterback or having to draft a quarterback and restart. No, man.
He's like Gruden, dude. He's like Gruden. He hates it. Yeah.
Yeah, he's not going to do that. So, I think the whole team's going to fall apart. Once Aaron Donald retired, I think that was kind of the end for Sean McVay. But, McVay is a beast, man. He's got a Super Bowl. That team, he had Jared Goff. He revitalized Jared Goff, when he came in there, got Stafford a Super Bowl. Been to the Super Bowl a couple times, two different quarterbacks, two different teams. And that team last year shouldn't have made the playoffs either. That team was way too young to be in the playoffs, to even be where they were at. And, developing Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua. I mean, those guys aren't high picks, you know what I'm saying? He's found ways to get them the football. And he revolutionized football for a little bit, and then people kind of went away from it. But he's the reason why everybody's running 11 personnel every single goddamn down, right? He kind of got rid of 21 personnel. There's no fullbacks, mostly because of Sean McVay and what he was doing back in like 2018, 2017, and with Todd Gurley and all those things they were doing with play action. So he really got rid of the fullback. It's really him. And I think that's why I really like him. Like I like Sean McVay a lot.
He's one of the best. I mean, he's one of the best. I think you're right. I think he is going to retire. I think he's going to get a TV contract too. I think he's going to stay in the game because he's one of those guys that I think doesn't want to rebuild a franchise. He, went to the Rams. They had Jared Goff, so he saw something there. I don't think they want to start over. The Rams have been kind of putting everything on layaway a little bit, and they've been doing well in doing so. Like they're different than the Saints who do that and just kind of suck. He is awesome. My dad is a massive Rams fan. I remember initially when they hired him, he's like, who is this guy? I said, I don't know, man. I think this guy might have a little juice to him. And immediately he took that talented Jeff Fisher team that Jeff Fisher couldn't get to do anything. That talented team immediately became a contender. And they are kind of an every other year team. 2022, they had a really bad year, which no one seems to remember. Like they were terrible. They won like 4 or 5 games or something. They're doing that again this year, and I think he's going to gift the next coach, if he were to retire, at least a high pick to use on that quarterback. I'm just not sure he wants to be around for it. That doesn't mean he's done coaching. He might eventually scratch the itch, but they have their defense is not that good right now, and but somehow it looks competitive. They've got the injuries from hell right now. I love watching Matthew Stafford play. He's really having his toughest go since his early Lions days right now. He's got no offensive line. His receivers are hurt. But Stafford is one of the most fun. I thought Stafford should have been MVP last year, in my opinion. And a lot of it's just McVay. I like Kyron Williams was not that good at Notre Dame. All of a sudden, he's a stud in the NFL. Puka Nacua, it was good at BYU. Did anyone see this out of him? Cooper Kupp, Western Kentucky. I think it was Eastern Kentucky or Western, one of those. He was, or Eastern Washington or something. Eastern Washington.
Triple crown.
He had hype. He had like a hive in the draft. Dude, the guy makes some of the best catches you'll ever see. Toe tapping and all that stuff. It's just guys like that, when they didn't even have draft picks for years, it didn't matter. They would do things that didn't make sense. They would trade up for Braden Fisk and Jerod Verse and give up way too much future draft capital. Those guys are good. They would trade for all the, it's Matthew Stafford, 2 first-round picks, comes in, they win the Super Bowl. Give up for Jalen Ramsey, comes in, he's a shutdown corner. 2 first-round picks, it doesn't matter. That's the type of guy that I've been wanting the Raiders to find, where it just doesn't matter. He got the Rams a championship. My dad almost broke his hand touching the ceiling. Like when they beat the Bengals, man. And I love him and Dick Vermeil forever for making my dad happy for a team that otherwise sucks when they're not there. Like they are ass. Like otherwise, he's not when they're not there, dude. Ken Norton saying same old sorry ass Rams punching the thing. Like no, they're usually really bad.
Plus, that's just the anatomy of a Sean McVay drive, like a 70, 80-yard drive, where it's just such a thing of beauty, where he's calling the same plays twice in a row. He's doing his little mesh thing. Like it's not that He's not trying to get cute. It's just, man, I love watching.
He has that caveman mentality, but it's like a refined caveman, like where it's like he does the physical thing you do, but not the like hard headedness, but just enough hard headedness to be like, no, don't keep run it again, you know, and he does it, you know, I'm a huge fan of him, and I hope we get him on TV because he's funny. He's really funny.
Yeah, he's great on TV.
Right on.
Two
All
more
right,
to go.
We got the Niners, Kyle Shanahan. Yeah.
I mean, Kyle's an alpha.
He
is, but I just Kyle annoys the hell out of me.
Yeah.
You know, because, you know, I feel like Kyle should have a Super Bowl by now. And I feel like they should have beat the Chiefs twice.
For sure.
Right. And this past year, they definitely should have beat the Chiefs. Like, Doug, you have Christian McCaffrey.
I know. Yeah.
Christian McCaffrey should have been running. His Achilles hurt right now. They should be hurting even worse for how he got run to the ground in that Chiefs game. Like, he should have like 40 carries. Like, I don't know what the hell they were doing. They're up 10-0. Nobody else should have touched the ball for the rest of the game. It was just Christian McCaffrey, little throw it to him, handoff, throw it to him. Yeah, I don't care what Brandon Ayuk and them dudes are crying about. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You know, but I do think he has a lot of pull with the Niners. I think he does a good job of, like I said, a lot of crazy personalities. I mean, Trent Williams is not your normal guy.
No, he's crazy.
That's a psycho. I'm telling you, man, the best coaches in the NFL, they control a psycho on their team. Yes. Trent Williams is one of them. He is a psycho, man. If you can't control him, he's gonna act like he's got some injury. He's gonna sit out a whole year like he did with Washington. Like I don't know what the hell happened there, but Jay Gruden couldn't handle him, right? And he ends up losing the locker room. But Kyle Shanahan, he can handle that crazy man. That dude's he's not normal. Something's wrong with that dude up there. But you know, if he was on a different team, he might be like suspended or something crazy, right? But with Kyle's able to handle those guys. Brandon Ayuk is an interesting personality too. That I mean, they clash a lot, but he's kind of
shorts, dude. The colored shorts is the funniest clip, dude.
Red shorts, dude.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. It's like, dude, we just did this shit all off season with you, and you do this stupid little passive aggressive thing with your shorts.
Yeah.
Fuck, oh my god, I want to fight you too, dude. I get it.
Yeah. But you know, Kyle's so alpha though. Like he thinks that he's such like this savant that he's like, I'm gonna beat Patrick Mahomes by 48-10. It's like, bro, you can't do that, man. You gotta gut it out and beat Patrick Mahomes 23-17, right? And you just every play should have went to Christian McCaffrey, but that's him, and that's why but he's alpha though, so it's hard to.
Yeah,
he's great, and he's wasted on a fan base that doesn't appreciate him. This
is Bay Area talking right here.
Fucking Niner Norteños at work. They're like, he doesn't fucking run. You fucking do it. Just all this shit. I'm like, dude, you don't understand. Like, you don't understand what you have every year. You have Mason. I don't even know his first name. Mason running the ball. All these, dude, shut up. Like every year, I have to wonder if the Raiders can maybe hold the bile down in my stomach. And then all of a sudden, it's like Kyle Shanahan. They're like, he's a choke artist. Yeah, it's so fun all throughout the year. I have to watch him just demolish teams. Just schematically do it the same way every single week, and no one can stop it except the Super Bowl, which maybe that's the curse you have, but I would sign up for that every single time. Me too. I would sign up. It's a fun season. You have a fun season, and the off season, everybody wants to leave. Everyone's out. Guess what? They all get paid. They're going to do the same thing with Brock Purdy this offseason, who's a stud, by the way. Brock Purdy is really good. And they find him. They never have to pay for their mistakes. Unless it's the Super Bowl, but they don't have to pay for Trey Lance. They got
dark magic going.
Cripples every single franchise except the Niners. Trey Lance, you trade 3 first-round picks for Trey Lance. He's ass. He's terrible. And then guess what? I found a guy from Iowa State with the last pick of the draft, and he comes out and he's the best quarterback Kyle Shanahan's had since Matt Ryan. Like he's better than Jimmy G. He's better than all these guys. And guess what? He's not a psycho. He's a guy you don't even have to worry about. But I will say this year, I think they are paying the piper a little bit. They are paying it. The injuries are piling up.
They're older. They're old team.
Dude, Shanahan looks old now. I just saw him on the sideline. I was like, dude, he's not a young kid anymore.
Because Trent Williams is what? Like, he's got to be like in his upper 30s, right?
Yeah, they got the problems. Bosa's always an injury waiting to happen. Debo is like, they're going to have to start using him in the way that the Chiefs do with Kelsey, kind of like, when do we want to have the Debo game? Kittle's always hurt. They are going to have to pay the piper. But you look at this division right now. they might just win it. That's the thing. Like they
they'll
might win it in spite of all this.
get hot. They'll get
hot. They'll get hot. They always find a way. They find some guy off somebody's practice squad that like, the Shanahans knew about in the draft, and it just they never have to pay for their mistakes unless it's the Chiefs, who I also hate. It's not even satisfying. The team that makes them pay. So it's just they're the bane of my existence. They have been my whole life. I've always hated them number one over any other team because of all the fans and my workplace rivalries. They dominate the Bay Area. Yeah. I just one of these days, if the Raiders ever have one of those years and the Niners don't, they won't. I will be murdered. Yeah. And but anyways,
Shanahan drives his Tesla around Los Gatos, right where we grew up. It's so it's torturing us.
Right around that area, dude.
Yeah. Okay, Marcus, I actually been meaning to ask. I got an X's and O's question for you. Offense, because maybe you guys, because you guys know more than me. Maybe you see something I don't. I fucking hate this orbit motion shit, and Shanahan loves it. Every time I see it, I'm like, this is so dumb. I know there's probably reasons for it, but I can't stand it. Do I have any reason to? Am I on the right track on there?
It depends on how you use it, like the orbit motion, because what it does is, especially with how Shanahan does it, is he's gonna get your fucking what Shanahan does is he picks on one guy. He looks on the film and he's like, that guy is really slow.
The weak link.
The weak link. There's a linebacker or there's a safety. I'm gonna move Brandon Ayuk inside. I'm gonna do orbit motion, but then Brandon Ayuk's gonna come off that motion. And he's gonna run a out route, but he's gonna run directly at that safety first, and then run an out route. Yeah. Like he literally he'll pick on two guys, and that's what the best play callers do. We talk about these schemes. Oh, what's a scheme? Like no, Kyle Shanahan literally goes, I'm gonna fucking throw the
embarrass
44.
One guy.
I'm gonna embarrass him all damn game.
It's like high school. It's like high school.
Yeah. I mean, it's not that much different. Like that guy sucks. He can't guard nobody. He can't play the run. I'm gonna run right at him. Like that's what he does. And people are like, "Oh, it's a savant," but it's really simple.
It's leaving your ego at the door and just deciding I don't care what plays I run. I just know they're going at 35. They're going at 51. They're going at this guy that I know his family. I know he's terrible. Like we're gonna kill this guy. And I want to like Kyle Shanahan. I want to so bad. He's on a team that it's like Andy Reid. Andy Reid's coaching the team I hate. Those are the two teams. And then Jim Harbaugh too. They all coach the top three teams I hate more than any team. And it's God wants me to stop watching football. So that's the way it feels.
What I'll never forget about Shanahan though is that Mark Davis was about to hire the Shanahans in 2015 before he hired.
I know it.
And Raiders fans flipped out. Like Greg Papa went on a rant. How could you just out?
Look where Greg Papa is right now. That little.
And I remember just sitting in my house, just like, why are you guys so fucking stupid? Like this, like because what was about to happen is Mike was going to coach for like 2 years, and then Kyle was going to be the coach. That was like the whole thing, and like he would be the Raiders coach right now.
That's crazy.
And you know what? Now I hear Greg Papa on the fucking Niners broadcast now. It's meant to torment me, and I want to shoot my radio like Bad Lieutenant Harvey Keitel. And he's like, and Kyle, the savant, he's the best ever. Oh my gosh. And he's the best. I've never met anybody smarter. And his dad is the best too. What a family. And it's like, and I'm just like, I want to, again, shoot my radio. Bad Lieutenant Harvey Keitel, just shoot the radio. Daryl Strawberry double play. Like I want to do that. And I can't stand it. This team drives me insane, and they're so. I wish they were my team, and I can't like them though. I have a visceral reaction to that uniform, the sourdough Sam, Bang Bang Niner Gang. I love E40. Guess what he did? He decided to make a song he pretends he's not a Raider fan anymore.
E40. That's unconscionable. Yeah,
dude,
exactly.
Terrible. He said,
"No, I know exactly." There's a Niners fan of my family who doesn't love football like as much as us, and he'll watch the games and be like, "Oh wow, we won the last 8 in a row. That's cool." And
they should throw the ball to Kittle more. And then they do it, and he's like, "Whoa!" And it's like, dude, it's so how do I get to be? How do I care as little as you and be rewarded as much?
Yeah,
that's what I want to do to the Niner fans. They forget that Jim Tom Sula coached their team. They forget about all of these coaches. And now they're like, I'm Shanahan. I'm getting a little sick of him. All right, man. Yeah. Fire him. See what happens.
Please.
My Lord. Fire him. Bring Robert Saleh in as your head coach.
John Lynch is implicated in this too.
100%. Exactly. So anyways, last but not least, the guy whose
McDonald.
defense is giving up 35 points right now. What the hell happened in that game?
Mike McDonald.
Mike McDonald, Seahawks.
I mean, oh man, sorry, I really don't know too much about him. So, but I'm a lean alpha just because I think he's a Harbaugh guy. Comes from the Harbaugh family, kind of type of thing. He had that defense. The Ravens, they're just beasts. He had the defense playing pretty well, but they haven't played anybody. I don't think they played a quarterback yet. They played.
They did tonight. It's 35-27. So yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So we see how that looks with him, but he doesn't have his personnel yet, and I get it. I mean, they're a Gus Bradley defense, really. I mean, that's Gus Bradley's personnel. Probably he's got to figure out what Patrick Graham had to figure out, which is like, okay, I have a bunch of guys that can't play too high, so we might as well play cover 3 and change the whole defense last year, right? So I think Mike McDonald's probably gonna take that, but I'm a lean alpha. I just don't know too much about him to say otherwise. So
feels like he's in the witness protection program. He's like hiding. Anytime I hear him talk, he's like looking over. He's like, "Yeah, we're gonna, yeah." And I like the hire. I thought it's good. I get what they're trying to do in Seattle. Pete Carroll, hard-nosed defense. Let's just find a younger version. Sounds good. I don't know that he's going to be raw like Pete Carroll, but maybe that's not the thing. I like their offensive coordinator hire. I'm forgetting his name, but he's got Geno cooking for sure. Like they look good. Yeah. DK's having a season of his life right now, and who's a guy that I normally, kind of make fun of a little bit, but he is very good. JSN still got to see a little bit more from him, and Kenneth Walker needs to stay healthy, but they have a chance to win this division. And I will not crown them anything until I see them beat the Niners at Levi Stadium. If they beat the Niners at Levi Stadium, Mike McDonald is him. I think that's the case because and that's what it comes down to. We have a big Seattle fan in our Discord. He's great. He's very nice. One of the nicest guys in the world. He gets real pumped on his Seahawks. And I think he's a little pissed that everyone does they haven't played anybody. It's true, but they haven't played anybody, and he knows it that they got to go beat Kyle Shanahan. You go beat Kyle Shanahan the way that Pete Carroll used to on Thanksgiving, eating turkey legs in front of everybody. You do that, they're back, and it looks sick. It looks sick when they're back. I want the Seahawks to be good in that division. I want anybody but the Niners to win it. Yeah, and Cardinals aren't going to do that this year. The Rams, I hope they get healthy, but I don't know about that either. And it needs to be Mike McDonald, and he'll be loved forever there because that fan base they are what the Niner fans aren't. When they get something good, they're like, please stay here forever. You can live at my house. Yeah, let's go hunting. I'll show you all the cool hunting places. We'll do duck calls together. Like, this is going to be fun. And they wanted the Pacific Northwest hospitality, like camouflage hunting guy with the lipper and that says Washington, those type of people, they deserve a good coach. I hope it's Mike McDonald.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Well, another one, guys. Another one. Alpha Beta, the 5th annual Alpha Beta Index. This time we were doing it in season. I don't even mind doing that next year. I think it's kind of fun doing it with us.
Yeah, I like doing that.
With some games.
Get the cobwebs, shake the cobwebs.
No, I mean, because then you overreact. It'd be funny. People would be like, man, after 4 games, these guys were saying that. I like this. Yeah. Okay, well, everyone, make sure you can catch me every Friday night with Marcus on Tape Don't Lie. It's very fun. Come have some beers for us. Watch the recording if you can't get there live. I know for some of the East Coast people that is a little bit late, but we have a lot of fun doing that. That's great. And shout out to Matt Holder as well, who does some wonderful work on that channel. And Marcus, one of these days you're gonna have to like not be friends with us anymore because you're gonna have like a real NFL gig, and now I'll understand. Just hit me on the burner account.
I got it.
We'll talk. I understand. No, we need guys like you to have jobs. I would be sad if you were fired because of our association with some of our so I appreciate it. Thanks for your time, guys. Check out Tape Don't Lie, and if you're coming in from Tape Don't Lie, check out Rare Candy Podcast at your own risk. At your own risk. Allow yourself to.
A lot of moon takes. A lot of moon.
Moon takes.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, it's fun. They're fun, dude. Yeah. Tap water stuff,
exactly.
We read books. We're fun.
Yeah.
So on that note, guys, everyone have a safe week. I hope if your team is somebody I hate, I hope you experience nothing but misery. And if your team is any of the other teams that are cool, just beat the Niners or the Chiefs, please. We can't have another Niners Chiefs Super Bowl. I will hemorrhage. So anyways, guys, have a good one.